is the great grandfather of the person that was actually given the instructions on how to build a ship to be saved from the flood. Now, this ship that he actually built, we discover, is not a gigantic boat. Zemaziah and Azazel were the two chiefs or leaders of this particular crew of these watchers. And these Ejiji people are these Anunnaki workers. And the fallen angels impart various types of knowledge and skills that were previously unknown to mankind. Then they started doing something again that was against the prime directive. They started teaching forbidden knowledge, was going to expedite our advancement technologically. And when you advance your technological prowess, all of a sudden, there's room for extreme detriment to that civilization. They praise Enoch for being so holy and so good to God that he was taken away and straight to heaven. He didn't have to die. He went straight into heaven and he never came back. They tell you that this guy was just a real good guy, and he did everything that God wanted, and he was without sin, and he was so incredible that hey, just take him straight to heaven. Just bypass the whole death process. Just go ahead and take him to heaven. And so that's the story that you get, but that's not the actual true story. It's quite interesting that Enoch is highly, highly, highly revered in the biblical text. However, his own book was left out of the Bible. Now, why do you think that is? Why do you think Enoch's text was left out of the canonized Bible? Well, I'll tell you why. Because it's talking about these people behind me. That's why. It's an ancient Jewish religious text traditionally ascribed to Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah. Now, who is Noah? We know now, because I've been reading the Epic of Gilgamesh, that Noah is actually Ziusudra, okay? That's his real name, Ziusudra, before it was converted to the name of Noah in more recent texts. His original name is Ziusudra, or even depending on which version of the Epic of Gilgamesh, Akkadian or Babylonian, it could be Utnapishtim, okay? Ziusudra is the most commonly known name, but Enoch is the great-grandfather of the person that was actually given the instructions on how to build a ship to be saved from the flood. Now, this ship that he actually built, we discover in the Sumerian tablets, is not a gigantic boat like what they have been preaching to you in Sunday school. He was given the instructions, and how do I know this? Well, the tablet is actually in the British Museum. He was given the instructions on how to build a gigantic round disc submersible, or maybe it flew. I don't know. We don't know. Nobody knows. And it was cut up into sections like a pie on the inside. And he was told to put his local flora and fauna and his local livestock in that disc. He never built a gigantic ship. Not once did he build a ship. That is false information. Not once did two parakeets and two lions and two deer and two cockroaches and two fleas and two ticks and all this come on the boat. Didn't happen, okay? I'm just telling you right now, it did not happen. He was literally told to get his local flora and fauna and his local livestock and take on this disc that was cut up into sections like a pie on the inside, but it was a sealed disc, like a saucer. That's what he was in. And we know this for an absolute fact now. There's no way to get around it. There's absolutely no way to get around it. So Enoch is the great-grandfather. Now, what's important here is we're aligning a man who has directly interacted with these advanced beings. Now we know his own descendant also interacted with these advanced beings, as he was given the actual instructions on how to build this from Ea Enki, one of these Anunnaki people. Enki saved him and his family's life by teaching him how to build this particular disc-shaped floating device, whatever you want to call it, right? This DNA bank, if maybe it was that. But we see a direct connection between Enoch and Ziusudra, who's actually now called Noah in more modern texts, because the Bible is New Age information, not Old Age, it's New Age. So it's interesting that connection, that lineage is there. two people, same bloodline, both being directly engaged by these beings. The descent of the Watchers, they descended from the sky. When we hear this in the biblical text or the Enoch text, what are we being told here? We're being told that these people, and I do mean people, came from the sky down. They descended from the sky down to the earth. And they were called the Watchers. They were the Watchers. They would watch over humanity. And in some ways, they were forbidden to engage humanity. Some of them were forbidden to actually engage. In other words, to directly interact or interfere. It was against the rules. They actually had something called a prime directive, the same kind of prime directive you see that they utilize that same term in Star Trek. In the Star Trek TV series, since it came out in 1960 all the way till now, they have a prime directive in which they cannot directly engage or interact with any civilization that's pre-warp. If that civilization is pre-warp and they're going to actually go down to the surface of that planet, then they have to pretend like they're part of that culture. They have to pretend like they fit in, like they're not really aliens or from space. And they can't alter or change or give them any technology in any way, shape, or form. It's forbidden, literally forbidden. Well, they got that information from the ancient tablets. And the Watchers descended to Earth because they were attracted to human women. And that's not me saying that. That's in the book of Enoch. That's the ancestors saying this. They were attracted to human women. And this group of angels was led by chiefs such as Zemaziah and Azazel. Zemaziah and Azazel were the two chiefs or leaders of this particular crew of these Watchers. And they decided, you know what? These girls look pretty damn good. We're going to take some human wives. Now, it's interesting that when you read the Enuma Elish,
about that
or the Epic of Atrahasis, you discover these beings, and they call them the Igigi. And these Igigi people are these Anunnaki workers. They're not slaves, but they're the working class. In other words, if I own a construction company, I'm the boss, then I have.
Because what is he talking about the boat? What is he talking about? Big wig.
Okay, so I had to run back there to Africa to go and run back to my phone like a Hebrew slave. But he said the boat wasn't like a ship like what we thought it was. So do y'all think it was more like a round submarine? Maybe a submarine that went way under. Or what y'all think?
He's talking about
He just said it was a circle.
He said it was a circle.
It was a circle and it was in pie slices or something on the inside.
So y'all think that was described as a spaceship or maybe a submarine?
Yeah, not a submarine. Submarine long like a hot dog.
So let me get a clear understanding. So pretty much what he's saying is Noah's Ark was not an actual ark. What he's saying is that he had directives to build a spaceship, and instead of two of each animal placed in there, it was more like a genetic ship where it had all the genetics of like, is this what I'm understanding correctly?
Sound like he said only his cattle, only Noah's cattle, not every animal in the world. But for me, the way because I read a lot of different things, and what I understood from just listening to different things and reading different books, it was never animals that was being captured. It was different tribes. Let's get two of these people from this tribe, two of y'all from this tribe, so we can start building man and woman. Let's go. I think it had nothing to do with animals, bro. Like, and the cattle was there. He said, bring your cattle because y'all got to eat.
So you think it was a spaceship, is what you said?
The cattle and the things they did bring on there was how they was going to eat, what they was going to eat.
But what you're saying is it wasn't a traditional ark in the sense of a large boat, but it was a spaceship. That's what you believe? Is this correct?
I believe that things were taken out of text in those Bibles and books that we read.
We get that. What I'm asking
I don't
you,
believe
do you believe it was a spaceship?
No. I just don't believe it was an ark. I don't believe it was a boat with a bunch of animal kingdoms running around on it. I'm sorry. And Lord forgive me, it just don't make sense to me. Like, it makes who got Did a whistle blow? Did the Lord blow the trumpets before Revelations? And the trumpet blew, and all the animals said, "Oh fuck,
crazy.
oh shit!" The Lord said, "Bitch, y'all better get somewhere." And they all came to the boat. No, somebody had to gather each one. So, and I said this yesterday. Who was out there catching them? Ladybird, you were saying, I can see Fred and our old Noah say, Ladybird, go get all the giraffes, because Ladybird got a long neck. And Trevor, you go get all the muskcats, because you bald headed. And, and we run around catching animals and it's finna flood. I think the fuck not. No, it was humans. These were different people, different tribes. Now, this is just me thinking logically. And back in them days, they wasn't no cars. You can just go drive around and find a cat and a giraffe, nigga. You had to walk. So I'm just saying, bro, nigga, I'm gonna walk back to the boat. So sometimes you have to think what it really means. And I think it was a lot of parables.
But you still ain't told us what you think it is.
Exactly.
Outside of Ladybird's giraffe neck.
I love you, Ladybird. I'm just mad because mine short and fat.
Neck is the
and I got a hot dog.
Call me Jeffrey, Toys R Us.
You know what?
And I ain't got no neck at all with wrinkles, and it's all kind of fat rolls.
Okay, now I understand your thinking. I understand your thinking on how the animals got there, and they're not really animals and they're humans. But again, do you think that it was a spaceship, or do you think that it was an ark?
I don't know. I'm gonna say this. I have to do some more research, and I have to be honest. When I'm honest, I just don't want to blurt out stuff, especially if I'm wrong. It takes a lot of research to get understanding, and sometimes you do have to pray for those understandings. And I'm still trying to get there, my love. So I don't know. But what I will stand on is I just don't believe it was animals. Those were different tribes.
Do anybody know? Because when you say it was a spaceship, right? You saying it was a spaceship based off? Have you went and actually read that?
The pyramids, though. The only reason
I'm saying the part of the Bible.
Okay,
I'm saying because I'm trying to understand, right? If somebody wants to pull it off, somebody post it in the chat. And shout out to everybody in the chat. What up, Kiki? What up, Crystal? What up, Jody? Everybody that's in the chat right now. But what I'm saying is this, right? If you go and read the story, where are you getting spaceship? Just because he said it?
No. Okay, so then when he said that, I'm like, damn, what if it is? And the only reason why is because I knew what the pyramids, even that was way after. But I still believe inside those pyramids, it was some alien stuff going on. How do we know that wasn't going on even back then? Because it was so long ago before even the pyramids and all of that happened, and people are still curious on how in the world did they do the pyramids. You had to be a giant to do that. Y'all think it's a portal to get spaceships? Can these pyramids fly? So that is the only reason why I took it into consideration, because that had to come from somewhere. It had to happen, and that's the only reason why I would give it a chance.
No.
Because
go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. No, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay. Now it's just when you read the actual story of Noah's Ark, okay, it breaks down essentially the measurements and everything of how that ark was built. Okay. So if you believe in the Bible, all right, there's divinity that happens. Okay. God is the ruler of all. Okay, look, in order to save life on this planet, even though it's just completely just nasty and it's an abomination in my eyes, I need to guide y'all over here to this ark. I'm going to cast a flood that is going to wipe out the entire earth. Okay? Now, when we break it down right there, you have to understand how long it takes for things to evolve. So when you fast forward, you have all this life on this planet. Well, how if there was a massive flood to wipe out all life? Not just human life, but all life. You understand what I'm saying? This is why I say, okay, no, there was some type of force, because you got to understand how animals migrate. They migrate over great distances and they don't have GPSs. They use the earth as their GPS. So at that point in time, God's like, no, okay, I'm going to throw my divinity into it. Y'all have to get to a safe place. I just need 2 from every species. Everything that flies, everything that crawls, everything that eats meat, everything that y'all have to go to a safe place, because I'm about to wipe this place out. You see what I'm saying? So boom, in an animal's state of mind, which is the purest state of mind, because they don't have computers and all this. Oh, let me think about this. Let me think about that. They move off of natural instinct. So with that being said, okay, yes, there is something that was built for them to be placed in because of the simple fact there was going to be a great flood and wipe out the entire planet. So that's why it's like when you sit back and he's like, oh, it could be a spaceship. I find that hard to believe because in order to have a spaceship, you got to have all types of metals and all this. You got to have all that. What?
Even to orchestrate and drive a big ark, it has to be other humans on there that can help you do that.
And
So
that
this
was
is why
it.
and Noah and his family, right? I still, in my mind, I'm going to always believe it was other tribes that was also on that ship. It wasn't just Noah and his family. It couldn't have been just Noah and his family. I think his sons, their wives, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And their children. And that's it. So when we talk about repopulating the whole wide world, so it was only just Noah and his family, right? That's what y'all telling me, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Trilla,
Okay.
look who in there.
I see old Grant.
Shout out to old boy, old Grant in the building. What up, Grant? We sitting up here talking about human history and what is human history. Shout out to you, Grant. I gotta send you the link.
Believe
so
spaceships
you can come backstage.
was Noah's
But go ahead,
Ark.
Trilla.
Okay, so yeah, and let me know when y'all want me to play the video. But yeah, that's just my stance on it. Noah's Ark was not a bunch of animals. It was actually tribes and human beings that can go back and repopulate the world. And like I said, I'm not sure if it was a spaceship, a submarine, or an ark, because they have lied to us and switched things around. The older the Bible gets, the more they switch things around. So let me know when you guys are ready.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a master architect, and underneath that, I have a foreman, and then underneath the foreman, I have workers who go out and actually do the labor to build the product or the house. You see, it's a structure, it's a system. Well, BZGG, they said the same exact thing in the Epic of Atrahasis. They said, we want to get some of these human women. We don't have no women over here. They were working, according to them, they were working on Mars, and they were complaining about the conditions. And they said, you're working us like we're slaves, or we're not slaves. And not to mention, we want to take some of these women back with us. So in two different texts from two different time periods, we find the same story. We found not the same story, but we found a similarity, I should say, a similarity in which these advanced beings, they want to get at these women. And so they began families. Then they started doing something again that was against the prime directive. They started teaching forbidden knowledge. The book of Enoch says that. They started teaching them forbidden knowledge. And the fallen angels impart various types of knowledge and skills that were previously unknown to mankind, which had a profound and often detrimental impact on human societies. So what are we talking about? We're talking about the fact that these beings violated another law and began to engage mankind and give us the forbidden knowledge. And why was it forbidden? It was forbidden because why? It was forbidden because this information that they were giving to humans was going to expedite our advancement technologically. And when you advance your technological prowess, all of a sudden, there's room for extreme detriment to that civilization. Why? The reason why it's room for extreme detriment is literally because when you take a civilization that isn't maturing enough spiritually and give them advanced technology, turn them into a technocratic civilization, they can potentially destroy themselves. And that's where we are right now. We're in a situation where we're on a precipice. We're on a line that we can go this way or that way. We're teeter-tottering. We are in a position right now to destroy ourselves. In less than 100 years, we went from a horse, buggy, and carriage to creating intercontinental ballistic missiles, to creating the Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 craft that have now gone out into interstellar space. We've done incredible things in less than 100 years. What did Azazel begin to teach the humans? He teaches men to make swords. First thing he does, let me teach you how to cut somebody up. Let me teach you how to chop somebody to pieces. We didn't have metallurgy. We didn't know how to make swords and steel. We didn't know how to work metals. We had no idea until Azazel taught us. He taught us how to smoke metal and all that, and steel and iron, and how to make a sword that won't break and that can slice and dice over and over and over again. Azazel did that. He teaches men how to make swords, knives, shields, and breastplates. We didn't have anything. It didn't exist yet. Azazel taught us that. One of these Anunnaki people, and I do mean people, person, humanoid. Azazel also teaches women the art of beautification, including the use of makeup and jewelry, which is suggested to have incited further sin. Azazel, that's how we learn how to make weapons. It didn't come from the Japanese and the Chinese, and no, it all came from one source. Azazel is the first person to teach us how to work metals and make swords and knives. First person, and breastplates and shields. First person. Then what happened? Semjaza, he instructs on the enchantments of root cuttings, essentially teaching sorcery and herbalism. So he taught sorcery and herbalism. He taught people how to use the herbs for either curing or for either trying to utilize those herbs in correlation with sorcery to create a particular outcome. A lot of that stuff is still being used today. And we don't want to admit that's what we're doing, but that's exactly what we're doing. We're trying to create sorcery, burning incense, right? Smudging and all of that. That comes from Semjaza. Amaros teaches resolving of enchantments. So he's teaching how to resolve enchantments. And then you have Barakel teaches astrology. So the first time we were taught anything about astrology and how it applies to human behavior, that came from Barakel. Then Kokabel taught the knowledge of constellations. He gave some real knowledge on constellations, star systems, orbital periods, star alignments. All that came from Kokabel. Then you have Ezekiel. He teaches about the knowledge of the clouds and meteorology. So now they're getting information on the clouds, stratus clouds, cirrus clouds, predicting weather patterns, understanding barometric pressure. All of that comes from this guy, Ezekiel. And then you have Arakiel. He teaches about the signs of the earth, which might be interpreted as geology, right? Or geomancy. So he's teaching geology, stones. He's teaching you how to understand layers going down, how many years back in time that goes, how to detect an area where there may be flowing rivers underneath the land, where there may be dangerous argon gases.
The fact
you don't want to dig there or create
like
something under that area.
Right.
All these things, tectonic plate movements and.
Now go ahead, T-Banks. You said the fact that he's spitting out names like that. What do you mean?
Like,
what is he talking about? You got to give a breakdown, and then I'm gonna say something.
Because essentially, what he's talking about is when there's a portion in the book of Enoch to where it says that these angels came down and they provided the forbidden knowledge, and it goes through those angels' names and say essentially what they brought down. And from my understanding and my belief, you got power in the tongue. So he's
Grant. Look who came in to make you paying attention. Grant, what up, Grant?
What up, Grant? What up, Grant?
Bro, let's go.
What up, Grant?
Hello.
But every woman I've been with thought I was part alien.
Hey, that's right. I'm telling you.
You know what, Grant? Oh shit! But it's just a matter of. I know
like, how you do that? How you get me to do that?
You know what? He about to start trolling like shit. What up, Grant?
How you do that? Shit.
Grant, do you believe in aliens and shit, though?
They get in my space and they're like, man, I'm doing stuff I never dreamed I would do.
It's crazy.
Wham.
Grant on the troll. Grant, do you believe in aliens, though? Or the Noah story?
Well, I mean.
Because you're Scientology, right?
Yeah, but that's got nothing to do with it. That's got nothing to do with it.
Oh, okay.
I just believe there's no way we're the only life in the universe.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it is other life.
It's just, and dude, when I'm around you, I'm like, I'm sure there's aliens.
Oh, that's crazy.
Right out in the open. Because you're the way you think is unexplainable.
That's what you believe, Grant. I definitely think outside the box. I don't believe in, like I said, I do believe in other species. I think other planets exist, and I think it's life form like us, similar on other planets. I just do.
Yeah. Or like just go in the ocean. Dude, we haven't even discovered 90% of the ocean life.
Right. Like you believe in mermaids too, then? Because I
I
believe
don't know. I've never been with one, so I can't say.
You probably
I'm just
have. You just didn't know you were back in the day.
But tell him, Jenny, you believe in mermaid.
I believe in all the different angels, and I believe in the giants, and I do believe in a lot of those stories. And I know for sure we're not alone. E.T. phone home is real. And I believe that I think the ocean is just like outer space. We barely can get outer space. That's why we can't get deep in the ocean too.
So speaking of that, Trelly, they're saying the ocean. They're starting to think that the ocean now might be a lake from a bigger ocean inside Earth.
I believe that.
And that the ocean, the Pacific and the Atlantic that we know are like ponds that have leaked up from the real surface of the planet's oceans. I met with an oil guy that he said, look, we'll never run out of oil because the planet is basically recreating these products over and over and over again as it revolves. So there's just so many things that we don't know. For anybody to think that there's not another life or to say that's impossible is just mind-boggling to me.
Facts.
Yeah, I believe that, Grant, because we were all water at one point. This whole planet was just water. So yeah.
Yeah. And then the foolish things that we fight about, black or white, male or female, and then we don't even know, like, how do the bees communicate? How do birds communicate? They're not talking. Communication's only been around 500,000 years. No, 50,000 years. 50,000 years. Man's been around 300,000 years. So how were we communicating with one another before we had words?
Good question. Anybody want to respond
Where
to
you
that?
been? Where you been, man? Where you been?
You said where I've been? I've been on
been?
Twitter. Well, I've been doing some other stuff as well, though, Grant.
Okay.
But I didn't popped up over here. What has been about 3-4 days now? I think I didn't pop up with Twitter Live.
Okay.
I've been working on some
I'll
other
always be here for you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I always got love for you, Grant.
Love you, brother. You know it. Okay. I got to go pop into this interview I got to do with Las Vegas NBC or something.
Right, because your last event, though, tell the people about your event. It's on the 19th?
Tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're doing our last 10X Growth Conference. If you guys want to come, you can come for free. There'll be probably 150,000 people online. There'll be 7,000 people in the room. GrantCardone.com/free. It costs you nothing to come. GrantCardone.com/free. Costs you nothing. You don't buy anything. Bring your popcorn, pop in and out, whatever you're going to see. 3 days of nothing but top of the food chain, successful people talking about how they made it from nothing.
Right. And that's dope. And shout out to you, Grant. It's all love, my brother.
Love you,
and
man.
Be successful with that, man. Okay. I'll definitely probably text you either later tonight or something.
Okay, thanks.
But I'll appreciate it, man. And y'all definitely check out, go to Grant's page at Grant Cardone here on X. Got a lot of love for that dude. That dude definitely loves me and supports everything
loves
that I
you
do.
for sure. Yes, he does. He don't care where you go. Sometimes
Right.
you be in the ghetto and Grant pop up. What we doing? We doing ghetto shit or no?
Gotta love Grant, bro.
You gotta love him.
Yeah, but shout out to his event he's doing on the 19th. That's gonna be real dope. But what was we?
And
at
can you
in the
tell your
conversation?
Twitter folks? If you guys are on Twitter, go ahead and reshare it on Twitter, Twitch. What's up, Twitch? And where else you at, Fred? Facebook.
YouTube.
We're on Facebook, Ladybird.
YouTube and Ladybird Facebook.
Yeah, we on Facebook, YouTube.
All right. Well, what's up, Facebook, YouTube, everybody? The Velt is here. Ladybird is doing her thing over there on Facebook. Make sure you follow Fred on Twitter. Now that we call it X. And what's up to T Banks? And let's get back to the content because this man says we aliens. It was never in
say how they communicate.
You said what?
Yeah, he was
Something
like
about
communication. Yeah, communication's only been here.
Yeah,
Communication's only been here 50,000 years. So
that's what Grant said.
How did we communicate beforehand?
I thought they communicated with like gestures and things. Like the cavemen back in the day. They did they little.
But you know what? I'm a go with something a little deeper than that. At the end of the day, I believe there was almost like a telekinesis where we didn't actually have to use language because our minds were still so tapped into the ether that that's how we communicated. We didn't really have to use words and everything like that because we were so tapped in to this planet and this world. But as time went on, we lost that connection. And I believe that's when the communication began to unfold. That's when we began
they was communicating through dreams. They were communicating by leaving their bodies at night and floating on over there with their kin folks and seeing what's going on. It was a lot that was going on, and we're just not connected like that anymore because it's so much filth that we're putting in our bodies now, and we're just not connected to the earth like we used to be, and that's what I believe.
Oh yeah, and I'm on that same wavelength. I'm definitely on that same wavelength because I've had experiences myself to where I'm sitting here and I find myself talking to somebody, I'm not moving my mouth. Like I know for a fact they understand what I'm saying because strictly by the way that they're reacting. So that's one thing I definitely believe.
All right, y'all want me to roll the video? I gotta finish dinner right quick.
Okay.
Want the video? And let me know when y'all want me to pause it. And it's gonna take me a minute to jog back here to unpause it.
And volcanic activity and all this information is coming from this guy, Arakil. Then you have Shamsiel. He teaches about the signs of the sun, like the solar behavior and the solar cycles. So he's teaching about the solar maximum, the solar minimum, CMEs, coronal mass ejections. He's teaching all this information to the people. So they have a full understanding of the solar minimum, solar maximums, and how that affects global warming and global cooling, how some of these CMEs can literally affect our magnetosphere. Then you have Sariel. He instructs on the course of the moon, which encompasses lunar cycles and possibly lunar astrology. Sariel's teaching this. So the whole lunar cycle, all that's being taught by Sariel. And not only that, but because it's the lunar astrology, he's teaching about the effects of the lunar gravitational forces on human minds, human consciousness, and how it affects our own behaviors. Still to this day right now, I don't know if you knew this, but during the full moon, which is totally predictable, do you know that police stations ramp up and have more policemen on staff that night? And the emergency room and hospitals have more staff that night on a full moon. Do you know why? Because on full moons, there's going to be more activity with crime and with injuries, either stemming from crime or other, maybe more car accidents, whatever, on the night of full moon.
That's true.
Full moons directly affect human consciousness. So Sariel's teaching and instructing on the moon. And so you have the consequences of all these teachings that these beings did. I don't call them angels because they're not angels. They're not angels in my book. The knowledge imparted by the watchers leads to increased sinfulness and corruption among humanity, according to the book of Enoch. The text portrays this dissemination of forbidden knowledge as one of the key factors leading to the moral decay and the eventual decision of God to bring about the great flood in the form of a divine retribution. The punishment to the watchers is, as the result of their actions, the watchers are judged by the archangels and are subjected to severe punishments. They are bound and cast into the abyss, a form of imprisonment and torment as a penalty for their disobedience and negative impact on humanity. So the humans got to die in the flood, but these people, they don't die. They just get kind of bound into some kind of a chamber where they can't get out. They're not killed. They're put into some kind of prison. If you really go into the text, you discover something very interesting, that Enoch wasn't taken by God. He was taken by people, and he wasn't just taken once. He was taken more than once. You're taught in Bible study that he was taken to heaven on a chariot, never to return again. He was taken straight to heaven. He bypassed death, not according to the book of Enoch, where he actually has a conversation with the beings that are going to take him on this trip to teach him knowledge, which is approved by the head god, Anu. This teaching is approved, and this trip is actually approved, and it's given a set day that
Wait,
they're going
he
to
said
leave on
Enoch
this trip.
was taken by people,
he even
not
gets
God?
his affairs in order and has his sons
You want me to pause
prepared for the
it?
day that he's going to leave.
Yeah, you can pause it.
In the book of Enoch, the narrative of
Hold on, let me
Enoch
run back
being
there.
taken into the sky or the heavens is one of the key elements of the text. The ascension is portrayed as an extraordinary event where Enoch is granted.
Okay.
Yes, he did say that,
He said a
he was
lot.
taken by people, not
People is
by,
crazy. He was
yeah.
not taken by people. Like, come on now.
Because if that's the case, that's pretty much saying that people can get into heaven and move around heaven and everything like that. So it's like, I don't know. And based off of what he's saying, he's tying everything in to the Anunnaki. Like that's what he's doing. He's fusing the biblical and the Anunnaki into one. So his take on it is very outside of the box. Cause it's like, come on, man, you got to stick to one. But I see how he's fusing the both of them in regards to the Anunnaki and the Bible. So,
because first we got to establish who was the Anunnaki. Do y'all know, or y'all just gonna listen to Billy Carson? Who was the Anunnaki?
from my understanding, the Anunnaki was a higher species that came to Earth because they needed to mine the gold. They need to mine the gold for essentially their home planet. And then in turn, that's how the humans were created, by fusing their DNA with the DNA of creatures on the Earth. So
Okay,
that's my
so
understanding of the Anunnaki.
were these humans? Is what I'm asking.
No,
Because I think when people bring
No,
up the
I don't
righteous
think
order,
they was humans.
okay, because everybody should be familiar with Nimrod, right?
mm-hmm.
Who was Nimrod? Remember in the
Nimrod.
Bible where they
Now,
were trying to build them?
Nimrod. Now, hold on. Now, I love the story about Nimrod. And that's why a lot of religions don't want to celebrate Christmas. Now, Nimrod died on December 25th. He is also responsible for wanting to build the big old towers, talking about you're going to reach the heavens and you want to dictate everything. And what happened? He died December 25th. And on his grave, they put that plant, that evergreen tree, and put gifts under it every December 25th. And he was
And
an
that's why
evil
y'all,
man
and that's why y'all celebrate
according
Christmas.
to
Go
the
ahead.
Bible.
Tell the story.
And that is according to the Bible. And he wasn't a nice person. But all his followers on that day that he died, which was December 25th, they put presents in remembrance of Nimrod underneath that evergreen at his, place where he died. So don't get me started on Christmas, because I always thought it was funny. Satan, Santa, just take away one of them letters and you got the same thing. And why would a man wear all red and come down a fiery furnace to give y'all kids gifts? So the hell with Christmas.
Because you do know in Nimrod's hand, if you look at a picture of Nimrod, the Christmas tree is in his hands.
He's holding it. Yeah,
And look at the
he's holding that
beard, or
fern,
what they,
evergreen fern.
what the hell is that?
Like a Christmas tree. That's the name of the actual
Exactly.
tree,
Okay.
evergreen.
But you got to explain. Some people might be like, what the hell is she talking about? That's the only reason why I asked you that. No, and definitely shout out to everybody. What up, 8? What up, young boy Chris? What up to everybody in the room? Definitely, if you want, we live on Twitter right now. Definitely like, repost the space, and drop a comment. We're talking about what is human history, right? So Trelly believes that the Noah story is fake, and the actual
No, it's
Noah's
not fake. I
Ark
think they
was
got
a
it
spaceship.
misunderstood.
She think it was a spaceship. So that means Noah, if it's a spaceship, then he got to be alien. Now we're talking about Nimrod, but that's a part of the story that's true. A lot of y'all don't know Christmas comes from Nimrod, right?
So that's why we're gonna ask. So basically, what Trevor's saying is Noah's Ark was meant to take the people from Earth to the space safely.
That's why I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, safely until the flood went away. They had to go up high. It was nowhere to go, and they had no food. All they had was that cattle. And that's why I believe the animals that they brought on there was for them to eat. All the tribes had to eat the food, the animals that was on that ship. Ain't no way they lasted 40 days and 40 nights. Some animals shitting and pissing everywhere. Them animals was dead. They ate them. They had nothing else to eat. They was eating birds and cows and cattle.
So you don't believe they was eating fish? See, that's what we got to get to the bottom.
So they
of,
was
right?
fishing. So y'all,
they in the middle of sea. I'm just saying, if they at sea, right? What's wrong with fishing? Oh, well, they didn't eat fish back then. No, I'm just.
So I heard that flood was a very rocky situation.
See, here's what I find strange, right? UNT makes want to sit and act like y'all got this conspiracy shit like
Let me
that.
tell you why. Okay, let me break it down. Oh no, go ahead.
Go ahead.
And then
No.
I'll tell you why I wouldn't fish if it
No,
was
no,
a
I'm
real
just
situation.
but no, you go ahead because I'm trying to understand your theory of why you think it was a ship, and him and Billy Carson saying that bullshit,
or something deeper like a submarine. So let me tell you. So I've been in the midst of a flood. I'm from Louisiana. When you are in the midst and everything is dead, you gotta understand in that water is dead humans, because he ain't say no humans. It's gonna be other animals. The water is filthy, filth of reeking of human flesh. You're not eating those fish. They ate the clean food that was allowed on that boat. You ain't
so
gonna
you
eat
don't
that.
believe in the Bible. Let's just get to
I
it.
believe in the Bible, but you have to understand and take everything into consideration in that Bible too.
Okay,
With
you
flood
don't.
water comes all kind of filth and dead bodies too, and
But
animals.
who's to say what that flood actually was?
Might have not been a flood. How about that?
That's what I'm asking. I'm saying, what is your theories like on this whole scenario? I mean, we can just keep listening to him because I see where Billy Carson is going with
they
this.
have proof that there was some type of something because, dang, I be watching that Ancient Aliens and Unexplained channel, and they were saying that there's an area, I think it's somewhere over near the Grand Canyon, where there's a section of the rocks that literally have a water line from, like, it have a permanent line where you can tell. I guess it's some kind of, I have to find a clip, but there's some kind of way where you can tell that. Mom, what is you watching? She over here scrolling Facebook like,
So essentially, there's proof of water erosion.
You said what?
That's essentially when you go to the Grand Canyon, when you look at the Sphinx and everything like that, there's proof of water erosion, which means that at some point in time, these areas and these these monuments were underwater, or they were in contact with a mass amount of water at some point in time. That's where you get that water erosion from. But go ahead, Lady Bird.
yeah, that's what it was. Shout out to T Banks for shout out to my twin for helping me out. Yeah, they have proof of that. So there was definitely a flood.
But when y'all say flood, right, you got to remember, right? This is in Genesis chapter 7. You know what? I ain't gonna ask y'all that. Because you got to think of the area.
The flood I'm thinking is where nothing is surviving. Like nothing, no human, no animal other than what's on this Noah's Ark survived.
And now that's what,
like Earth reset itself and said, you know what? I need to clean myself. I got to get back right. I'm about to do a whole full cleanse.
But what about the sea life?
Milk of magnesia and all this here, and said whoosh.
But here is where, you know what I mean, I'm opposed is what about the sea life? They thrive in water.
Common sense to tell you the sea life didn't die.
Okay. All right. But I'm just saying, when we're talking about everything was gone, all right.
No, that's something to think about now. Hold on now.
Talking about everything on land. We know the fish ain't gonna die. They live in the water.
So everything. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna just mute
the mermaids live.
No, say it because I'm thinking it. You probably want to say what I'm thinking because I'm gonna tell y'all this.
Crazy.
Everybody did not die, and it was just Noah's family. That's just fake news.
That's a fact. That is fake news.
We're talking about only a particular area of the map at that particular time.
That's what I believe too.
And the people in Turtle Island at that time, didn't affect them at all. If you know what Turtle Island is, that's what you call South America, United States, Canada. This whole thing, we was not affected by that.
Okay,
it was a great flood, but I think you're right. It didn't affect all beings. But it was a great flood.
How does the original language describe it?
Describe what?
The flood, the original Hebrew, not the King James, not the New International Version. No.
Yeah, a particular area, right? Let's say if you take a certain country, that whole country died, but not Noah, and they was able to take this boat across this river and make it across this river to a new place in a new land that they did not know.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
All right. So let's say he said that he destroyed it with water. Next time he's gonna do it by fire. Does that mean that, or And does that mean, or do you think that now in turn mean that the earth is not going to be destroyed, just a country is going to be destroyed by fire?
Yeah,
Maybe.
maybe. Like I remember how the East Coast was under snow or ice storm, and the West Coast was under fire. Something similar to that with the fire. That's according to the Book of
America
Revelation.
has fallen. We're gonna be burnt. The first shall be last. Let me move,
That
bro.
I guess the only issue I have with that is then that's basically saying that the Bible is not true, right?
Why are you saying that? Why do you come to that conclusion?
Because if you saying that, oh well, if the earth was not destroyed by water, then that means that is not true. And then when it comes to the
It never
second
said.
time,
Hold on. Okay, stop right there. Now I think I know where you're going, right? So you're saying it's not true because it said the earth. Actually, you're dealing with the English language. So in the Bible, when it describes world, do you not know what it means by world? Do you know what that means? When it says God so loved the world, when that is stated, do you know what world actually means right there? Is it talking about the whole globe? It's not talking about that. It's what I'm explaining to you. It's only talking about the world or Israel and that region, the
I
land of
believe
Canaan.
that he's talking about his world that he
That
respects.
world. That is a world, what we call countries today. I'm trying to use English to make you understand the language back then, but that's not how they view things or how they worded things. It's just that Greek translation over time has confused people to it, where they'll say the whole world or earth. What is earth? It's talking about
But
that
really,
land.
that meant a world, like
Yes, a
not
world.
a country, just a world. Yes. Yes.
That's the definition of it. But you have to go into the etymology and the definition of what those different Greek words or those different actual Hebrew words meant at that time. Because it can't be confusion because of the English language.
You know what else I think? Everybody in the world will not understand or never grasp the true meaning of the terms in the Bible. Some people not gifted to ever understand it.
Because it wasn't never meant that way.
I do agree. I agree with that too.
It's not meant for me to understand.
I believe it
I
wasn't
get
meant for
confused.
I believe it wasn't meant for everybody.
No,
It's not.
That makes
It's
sense
not.
because just the flood if everybody didn't get affected by the flood, that means that was only for the people who was affected to know what happened in their history in their part of the world.
Or look at it like this. Do y'all believe in, what is it called, when we had one landmass, right? And then now we got the Atlantic
Pangea.
Ocean.
Oh, Pangea.
Pangea.
Ain't
Do
that
y'all believe in
crazy?
it? Do y'all believe in
I
that?
do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So when
because
that
everything look like a puzzle piece.
So when that separation happens, right? That can be considered a worldly
Oh,
event.
one world. Yeah, you're right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because
it was one landmass.
Correct. But that doesn't mean the people that's in Turtle Island was affected by nothing that happened in Egypt, or the people in Egypt was not affected by the people that was in China, because that's not their original names. Go ahead.
Okay, so
y'all got to like and repost
back.
the space. Share the space on Twitter. We live on Twitter right now. Shout out to you guys. I see you dropping comments, but definitely like and repost the space. We live on YouTube and also live on Twitch. And Trent, I meant to ask you, how the hell did you dropping them comments? Was you dropping them on the YouTube or what? But definitely repost the space. You said what?
I don't know. Y'all know what I'm doing, but I be doing.
Yeah, that's why I was like, how she do that? I'm trying to figure out how to do it. But go ahead, Yadi. My bad.
So if it was one, can you hear me?
Yeah.
If it was one land mass, right, in those times, then everybody would have been on that one land mass, correct?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that everybody who was on that one land mass would have died outside of Noah and his family.
You got to remember, there's no such thing as plan.
Oh, we talk Pangea. We not hold on.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm
make
saying.
Up your mind now.
We're talking Pangeas, right? Do you want to learn something, or you gonna keep listening to the fake pastors? What I'm telling you is this, right? Let's say we're talking about this one landmass, right? But let's say I live in Brazil, but you live in Egypt. Do you know how far away you are from me on that one landmass? I don't even know you exist.
Mm-hmm.
So you might, you know how basically, and this happens in everybody's city, right? So the north side of Atlanta, right? It could be perfectly sunny. But on the south side by the airport, it's thundering and lightning. In the north side, it never affects us. So just imagine if you live in Brazil, right? But then somebody lives in Egypt on this one landmass. You think everybody's affected by what happened in Egypt? No. Or what happened in Sudan? No. It just doesn't work like that. But these are the way the stories was told. Constantine and the Council of Nicaea did a great job, and Martin Luther, and I ain't talking about Martin Luther King. They did a great fucking job of confusing the people. And I think his name is Saint something. They did a great
Saint
fucking
Augustine?
job. No. I forget his name. It's a dude. This is the trickery they didn't put on the people, like what Trelly was saying. The Bible is not meant, the Bible tells you this. Only certain amount of people are going to be able to understand that Bible. That's by design. It's just a fact. Everybody's not going to get it. That's why everybody shouldn't be teaching it. In those times, right? You do know the congregation never knew what scrolls or what books or what writings Moses and all them was preaching from. You do know that, right? They never looked at it. You could not go in the temple. And then the other goofball we was listening to, right? Even, do you not know for a man to be able to even preach or be a priest at that particular time, for him to preach the word, he had to be a married man. So if Jesus was actually preaching in the temple, what that tell you? That's the fucking law. The only way you can preach the word of God in a temple, you have to be a married man. Now there go a loophole I just threw y'all through. And that's why some of the books came out the Bible. They don't want you to read the Apocrypha. They're going to tell you the book of Jasher not real. They're going to tell you the book of Jubilees. But all these books is mentioned in the Bible. It's crazy. And then this dude sitting up here talking about there was some people that took Enoch. Okay. Well, then apparently you ain't read that book or the Dead Sea Scrolls in actual Hebrew. And I'm not talking about Yiddish. And the Yahweh the Yah, the way that comes across, yes, he was out of here. Now, if y'all want to say it was the Anunnaki or the Watchers, okay, cool. So be it. But then you got to understand who the Anunnaki was. What do y'all think Osiris, Isis, and Horus was? Y'all do know about that story, right? What do you think they was? They wasn't humans. Can y'all hear me?
Oh yeah, nah, you just get everybody on the thinking move right now. So keep talking.
Oh, okay. I got y'all thinking too much. Okay, well, let me slow down. I mean, we can get back to the.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that Osiris and all them. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's where all this come from. Big Wig, you still there? Boatman, you got
Yeah.
another question? Okay, you can play it. Hold on, let me see. Because I don't know what Billy Carson talking about. I guess that's why Wesley Huff packed him the fuck up. He just saying anything.
I've been seeing his videos pop up on my YouTube feed. I watched one of them.
I mean, he's good.
Y'all ready
but
for the video?
what video?
I just don't know if I want to go that. I ain't ready to go that far yet.
What you mean go that far? What you mean? Go what far?
As far as I don't know how far he going.
When you saying with the knowledge?
Yeah.
He goes there. He goes there. He goes there. He believe in the Emerald Tablets, if you're familiar with that. That's why he's doing all these discussions. Go ahead, Trey.
You wanted me to play it or?
Yeah, I just want to hear a little bit more of what he's talking about.
Okay, cool.
At least another 5 minutes. And then
divine visions and insights, setting the stage for the detailed revelations that follow in the book. In his ascension to heaven, Enoch's ascension is described across several passages in the book of Enoch. He is taken up into the heavens multiple times, each providing different experiences and revelations. In other words, different things he's being taught, different knowledge that he's been given on different trips, multiple. Not even double, but multiple means more than two. In his initial ascension, Enoch describes how he was taken up into the heavens on the clouds, and the wind in the sky bore him aloft. Well, that sounds quite a bit like flying in some type of a vessel. The ascension is often seen in his initial introduction into the celestial realms, and during this time, he visits various places in the heavens and earth, including the places where the heavenly bodies, stars, sun, and moon, are regulated. Oh, he's in outer space, guys. One of the earliest accounts of a planned alien abduction. Visions of the heavens. As Enoch ascends, he is shown the treasures of the stars and the thunder. Among other secretive and sacred places of the heavens, he witnessed the workings of the natural world from a divine perspective. So he's looking at the earth from atop, and he describes it as a giant ball. Understanding the operation of the cosmos, the weather patterns, and other natural phenomena from above, looking down on the planet.
So it's not
He's seeing the
flat.
clouds from the other side. This isn't a story about some heavenly father, a sky daddy with a magic wand, whisking away a good human into heaven. It's a story of advanced beings with advanced technology that's capable of space travel, taking a man from the earth into space and teaching him things. This is why the book of Enoch is not in the Bible. Then you have the revelation of secrets. Throughout his heavenly journey, Enoch is also shown secrets that are not known to other humans. He's given forbidden knowledge. These include ultimate judgments of the angels and humans, hidden paths of the stars. He's given star maps and the storehouses of life and rain, which are meant to explain both cosmic and earthly operations from a divine standpoint. He's given the information and knowledge how to predict weather patterns on earth. That is what the book of Enoch is all about. That's what the book of Enoch is all about. You'll find everything I'm talking about is right in this book, the book of Enoch, one of the most revered people in the biblical text, whose book was omitted by the Council of Nicaea. Why? We don't want to tell them about these aliens taking people into space and teaching them how to kill each other, make weapons and all of this, and how they lusted after our women. No. Let's keep that on the outside. Just keep it on the outside. That's exactly why. People want to believe in fairy tales. There's just no other way. I've come to the understanding now that people want to believe. They want to so badly believe in fairy tales. A lot of people have succumbed to the life on this planet and believe that, this is hell that we're living in, and it's always the end of days, and there's got to be something better, because they haven't figured out how to bring heaven to earth. They haven't figured out how to stop waiting to die so they can live. And because they can't do that, they want to believe in the fairy tales. They want to believe in, this artificial thing that happened, which is this right here. They want to believe in two of every animal of every kind and came onto this ark and, which was a giant boat that was built by a man's hands in dry land. And then the flood came and swept them away. And then 8 people survived, and those 8 people turned into 8 billion. A genetic pool would need to be much bigger than 2 animals of each kind, right? You might be able to get away with it with a couple different, earthworms, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're not gonna get away with creating a whole repopulation of horse by 2 horses.
Man.
You're not going to create a repopulation of lions from extinction, because this will be an extinction level event, with a lion and a lioness. It's just not going to happen.
Oh, is that too much, too deep? That's why I say that's not all the facts. Y'all want me to continue?
Please do.
A giraffe and a giraffe. I mean, 2 giraffes can't make, tens of thousands of giraffes that existed. I mean, it just doesn't happen that way. The opening scene in the Emerald Tablets, Velt says that the temples were rising up out of the mud, that the fountains had completely covered the land. We're talking about a global flood, and that people who survived in caves were coming out of the caves. Now, what's interesting is the Bible does kind of mimic some of that information, because in the Bible, what people miss, because the Bible study class never teaches you this, and the people who are studying Christianity never read the Bible. They only listen to what somebody tells them about the Bible. So they didn't read the part where it says that people survived in the caves, and that the kings had survived in the caves, and that Nephilim also survived. Not all the Nephilim were wiped out. Some of them survived this. And this is why you have the Nephilim giants, and you have all this population of people that survived after the flood situation happened. That's actually in the Bible, but nobody ever reads the Bible, so they would never actually know this. And if anybody is doubting what I says, just Google Nephilim survived the flood, and you get all the Bible verses right there, right? The Bible verses are right there. It tells you the exact verses in Genesis where you can see that the giants survived the flood, and people survived the flood, and that they hid in caves. And in the Emerald Tablets is where they got that information from. It says that they hid in the caves in the desert, and that after the flood waters began to recede, and the temples were coming up out of the mud, the people came out. The giants came out, right? And then you look at the Epic of Gilgamesh, which is a huge, huge, huge story. it's taught in universities in ancient civilizations. Like you can't be an ancient historian without doing a complete paper on the Epic of Gilgamesh. It's a massive story. It's considered an actual poem. And in there is who? Enlil, right? This is Sumerian Babylonian story. And Enlil is the one that sends Gilgamesh on this hero's journey. And what's interesting about this hero's journey, Gilgamesh didn't want to be alone on this journey through the wilderness that he had to go on. And so Enlil fashioned him an artificial man, a friend to go with him that he created, literally fashioned him and imbued him with knowledge and intelligence, which is AI, and sent him along his way with his friend. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, they're on the search for Ziusudra. Ziusudra, or also known as Utnapishtim, is also the biblical Noah. And this story about Noah and the flood was written in the Emerald Tablets 4,400 years before the Bible was even thought of being written. They discovered something amazing. Let me show the people what they discovered. They discovered these tablets. Guess what this is? The original tablets with the original instructions for Ziusudra to create an ark. Now, let's talk about this ark that they were told to create and what it is, right? So the tablets were found. So there was an instruction that was given down to Noah, aka Ziusudra, aka Utnapishtim. That's really, two names between Babylonian and Assyrian. And this information was to create an ark that was in the shape of a disc.
When we was doing some research on the show yesterday, and we came up with was the ark a spacecraft? Could it be a spacecraft? That was it's right here on the bottom right here, and it was number 9 to add. So I got a few questions I was going to ask you, and that was one of them right there. So there we go.
So it's pretty interesting. So it was a disc. Now, of course, mainstream doesn't want to say spacecraft. In my opinion, was a DNA bank. At the least, at the best, it could have been some type of a craft, or at least a DNA bank that also had the capability of surviving on top of water. But let's take a look at the illustration that they created based on this new development that is official now. It's made it into mainstream peer-reviewed archaeology that this object is the actual ark. Based on these tablets, they are reconstructing the original ark that has been plagiarized into the modern day
they're
Bible.
just repeating his different shows where he's talking about it. Y'all want me to skip through some of it, because he literally just talked about this.
Can you break it down what he's talking about though? We need a recap. And shout out to everybody right now on Twitter. Definitely like and repost the space. Go ahead. Because at this point, he's just talking.
Yeah, at this point, he's just talking. It's the same thing. I'm gonna scroll through a bunch of it, but he's still believing that it was a disc and that boat was a DNA bank, which means mating to repopulate the world. And I see this is just a bunch of clips of him talking about the same thing, but I do want to hear the end. Look like it's something different going on at the Angels. And he's just saying that AKA spacecraft ark was a DNA bank, and I feel like it was different tribes. Anybody else want to speak on it? And I'll play like the end of this video, and then shouts out to everyone here. Are y'all hello?
I don't know what they're doing. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm gonna just play the end.
Okay.
Techniques.
Okay.
So all of a sudden, this guy understands and knows how to build megalithic structures. Who taught him this information? Wherever he went, he became a student. And they brought him back.
The same people that taught the motherfuckers how to build pyramids.
There's only one Bible that exists with the full book of Enoch in the same Bible, and that's the Ethiopian Bible. It's a really, really old Bible, long before the Sinai Bible, long before the King James Version, out of Ethiopia, right where actually a lot of the Jewish people are. There's Black Jews in Ethiopia, which I'm going to go see them next year when I go down to the Lalibela temples, which is a mountain that was carved into a temple from the outside going in, just like Abu Simbel and Petra Jordan. And so, ironically, right there in that same area, they've got the Bible with the book of Enoch inside of it. But the reason why it was left out is because he was taken away, taught an advanced construction knowledge that nobody had the capability of knowing. And he was also, he also had a record of these beings that were engaging the people in a way that it didn't seem too godly. Let's put it that way. And so that part was left out as well. According to the ancient records, his father wasn't human. In other words, he was half Anunnaki or Atlantean in some way. Just like Ziusudra, aka Noah, was also half Anunnaki or Atlantean. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, same scenario. I believe it was Enki that was his father. And when Noah was born, or Ziusudra is his real name, when he was born, he didn't look like his, brothers and sisters or his family members. His hair was different, his eyes were a different color, his skin was a different color and everything else. So it's pretty interesting. And so again, he was spared. And when he got spared in the ancient Sumerian tablets, Enki and Enlil, they had a big fight because Enlil wanted the people to be wiped out, and Enki saved enough people that they can survive and re-kickstart civilization. The Bible has a lot of good information in it. If you can apply some of the information, it can really change your life. It can really put you on the right path. But it also has some information in there that's detrimental to people as well. You have to have discernment with what you're reading in the book, in the Bible. The Bible, where you see the word God everywhere, that's a mistranslation by accident on purpose. The original word is God's with an S. It's always with an S. Back in the actual word, the translations, we find out it's God's, not God.
Do y'all agree with that? With an S, God's. You agree with that? Okay, so nobody agree with that. Okay.
Singular. Elohim is also a plural term. It's not a singular term. And you also
What's Elohim? What's that? Oh, okay.
discover that Yahweh is actually Enlil from the Sumerian cuneiform pantheon, from the Sumerian cuneiform text. He's Enlil. It becomes Yahweh in the biblical text. And there's all these correlations between the different ancient characters from the Sumerian text end up in the biblical text. And you find out in the book of Deuteronomy that these gods are fighting each other over resources and people. They took off the S to make it the monotheistic mindset. When you read the Enuma Elish and the Atrahasis epic, you realize that they copied.
Hold on, these words get me. I don't know. The Haluma, the Ish. Anyway, let's get back to it.
That's
it's a lot of words, and I have a lot of homework.
Yeah, I can't do nothing but listen right now.
Let's go.
Read all that ancient text and put it into Old Testament of the modern day Bible. It's all written in stone. These have been translated since the 1800s. So Cambridge and the British Museum have translations, and then UCLA did an amazing thing. There's over 1 million tablets that have now been, out there, and they've got hundreds of thousands translated. UCLA cataloged all the tablets digitally online and made an online tablet translator called a UCLA CDLI Cuneiform Digital Library. And you can go there and take a tablet off the shelf and drop it into a translator and read it for yourself. They're real tablets. And I've done lectures on this for the last, 4 or 5 years. These tablets are amazing because this is as close as we're going to get to the truth. And they're talking about beings living in other planets, coming to this planet, engaging mankind, teaching mankind about weapons, war, genetically modifying humans for the purpose of turning us into slaves to do a lot of the labor for them, and living on Mars. The most recent version is back around 6,000 to 7,000 years ago, which is why people who believe in the Bible believe the earth is only 6,000 years old, because the story is copied from 6,000-year-old tablets. That's the beginning of the creation of the earth, is in the Enuma Elish. That's actually the creation of our entire solar system is in there. The earth is just a small part. According to the book of Enoch, which is one of the apocryphal books left out of the Bible, but he's important because he's mentioned in the Bible. These beings came from heaven to earth. And then they have names. They taught human beings how to make weapons, how to even make beer and all this other crazy stuff. And then they took Enoch on a trip to the earth's atmosphere and beyond. And he saw the earth and the shape of the planet as a sphere. And he saw that he was living on a giant ball, and then brought him back. This is all in the book of Enoch. The only Bible that has the book of Enoch in it is the Ethiopian Bible. It's the only Bible in the world that actually incorporated the book of Enoch into their canonized text. The rest of the Bibles omitted the book of Enoch. The wars of these gods.
I was doing something. I was able to listen, but so y'all was asking a question, right? About Charlie, you said, why is it an S, right?
I didn't say why it's an S. I said that's right. It's an S. It's not. It's God's.
He
Yeah.
goes, Mr. Okay.
And like,
Here's the thing, right? Because we're dealing with actual Hebrew text. So you have the capital G, then you got the lowercase g. Those are two different words in actual Hebrew. When he's bringing up the S and talking about it's plural, and then he's bringing up Elohim, right? That's when it's plural. That's capital G-O-D-S. That's Elohim. Does that make sense? But that lowercase g is talking about other gods. Y'all get that?
Oh, so wait, say it again. So the lowercase s.
You got to remember, okay,
Okay.
let's walk through this.
Yeah, say it again.
So you have the capital G-O-D-S, which is gods.
Yes.
That's the Elohim he's talking about. But then you got gods with G-O-D-S, lowercase g.
Yes, I've seen that
other
too.
gods. Right? That's talking about other gods. That's why it says there's many gods, but put none above me. That's the capital
Yeah.
G.
I always wonder why they didn't capitalize, and it's a fact. I'm at this age, and I was wondering, is this a misprint, or why is it in some texts it's a
What do you
capital
mean?
G,
What do you
and then
mean?
it's a lowercase g? I never understood why.
Okay,
And you just told me.
That's the reason being, right? The lowercase G-O-D-S, meaning other gods, right? You got the god of China, you got the god of Russia, you got the god of America, you got the god of Iraq, you got the god of Iran, it's many gods. But the God of the Bible is the Elohim that he's talking about, which is plural. So in the book of Enoch, right? Or let's go to the book of Exodus, where he tells, I think it's in Exodus, Abraham, what his name is. No, that's Moses. When he tells Moses says, well, what am I supposed to tell the Israelites? What's your name? And then he gives them his name. Do y'all recall that? So that's not talking about, that is the God of the Bible, the same God of the Quran. Because that's the reason, T-Banks, if you listen, and why the Quran actually says we follow the same God of the Bible, the God of Isaac, Abraham, Jacob, Isa, aka Jesus, and the 12, which is the 12 tribes of Israel. All of them follow the same God, that one God, with that capital G-O-D-S, but he actually says his name in the book of, I think that's Exodus. Does that make sense? So that lowercase g is talking about other gods, many gods. That's why Constantine, bitch ass, he was worshiping a different God. No, because I don't like them Romans. I don't. Not when it comes to this knowledge, right? And you got to remember who the Romans were. They wasn't the people of that book. Those are the people that quote unquote crucified Jesus. They didn't look nothing like who they was describing at that time. The people they ran off. Constantine and the Council of Nicaea represented another culture. Alexander the Great. Go ahead.
That shit was Constantine. That was a real story.
Yes.
I swear to God, like I swear.
That's the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire.
I honestly did not know
What
that.
do you think the Roman Catholic Church comes from? Or the Catholic Church? That's from the Roman Empire. You got to remember, Rome ruled for a long time. For a very long time. Constantine was a part of that. Shout out to my boy Bling in the building. Shout out to everybody that's definitely.
And what did you say Elohim mean?
Elohim.
Oh yeah, that's right. I meant to ask that. Yeah. What is that? Who is that? What is that?
Elohim means plural. In the beginning, Elohim created. That's that word right there. But in actual,
so he's a god.
No,
that's
what he's saying is.
So Elohim means in the beginning.
No.
Oh.
What I'm saying is the first line in Genesis 1:1, right? Let me pull it up, right? The first line, it says, in the beginning, God. That's the capital G-O-D.
Right.
Right there, that word God is Elohim. But in actual Hebrew, Elohim, that's Yiddish. That's what Netanyahu them over there say, Elohim. Okay. But in actual Yahweh Dayat, I actually just said Hebrew. It's Allahayim. Now, I know y'all have heard me say that word multiple times.
Yeah, Allahayim.
Exactly. You sound like a white woman with it, but yeah. You get what I'm saying? Like, but I'm saying it because I'm breaking it up in syllables, but that's Allahayim.
Right.
Meaning right there, that means it's talking a reference to, the God who created everything. That's why it says in the beginning, let's make man and woman in our image.
Okay.
Let's make man in our image. That's the plural referencing Elohim or Elohim. Plural. And what is this? Because should we go down that rabbit hole? But no, I'll just
Deep inside, you really want to, don't you?
yeah.
He do.
But,
He like,
'cause
oh,
y'all-
let's go.
No, because it's like I get what he's saying about the book of Enoch, and which is true, right? And if y'all don't know, Genesis is not the first book. When they talk in this chronological order, it's actually the book of Job. That's the actual first book.
Oh,
Story
Job?
of Job. Job, yes. Job is the
Job
first
is
book. It's
before
not Genesis. Yes. Genesis is a recollection or a history of things that happened. But that's not the first book. And then the book of Enoch, right, is before all them books. It's actually before Job. That's the reason why the Ethiopian Bible actually still what he's describing, why the Ethiopia Bible, which is written in Ge'ez, the book of Enoch is in there. It's 82 books, I think, or 86. Don't quote me on that. It's somewhere 82, 86 is written in Ge'ez. That's the Ethiopian Bible. And the book of Enoch is in there. That's the reason why the Bible referenced the book of Enoch in there. But it was something else. Yeah, y'all start saying about these different names. What was those names he was saying? But sometimes he'll use Noah's real name, or what, I'll just say the Jewish community puts out there as Noah's real name, because you do know that's not their names. The actual book of Genesis is not called Genesis. Y'all do know that, right? It's not the book of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. That's not their name.
Okay, well, hold on.
Oh, I just know I used to
It's the
read
Bereshit.
them names when I was little and try to figure out how to say them. So and so begot so and so begot so and so.
No, but Genesis, right, in Yiddish language, it's called Bereshit. That's Genesis. I just said Genesis in Yiddish. Bereshit. Then you got Shema, that's Exodus. Then you got Barak, right, which is Leviticus. I think I'm still saying that, right? So y'all get the idea of what I'm saying. So sometimes they'll reference the actual book name because it wasn't called Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers. It wasn't called that. Like the Tanakh. Do anybody know what that is?
This ain't what they teach. They don't teach this, huh? They ain't trying to teach this.
They not gonna teach this because that's where the confusion comes in. Because if you know the truth, right, or which going back to what Trelly said earlier, the Bible is not meant for everybody to understand. It was what Martin Luther wanted to do with the Lutheran church is to put the Bible in the congregation hands to confuse everybody. It was to confuse everybody. That was the purpose.
So it's safe to say, if you want a true understanding, you got to unlearn everything you thought you knew and start from the beginning.
Possibly.
What did he say?
I said you gotta unlearn everything that you thought you knew, and then start all over again.
You asking me that or telling me?
No, I'm just saying, like, that's pretty much based off of the information you just gave. That's what that seems like, because of the simple fact they did put it out to cause so much confusion.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's almost like, yes, if you really want to get to the truth, you got to empty your mind of everything that you thought you knew and start over. You know what I mean? With some type of base understanding of where you want to go.
To a degree, yeah. And the reason why I say that is because, see, all of this shit comes down to, right? You gotta know the language. So if you don't know actual Aramaic, you really fully not gonna understand the Quran. Even though they'll teach it in Arabic, because Arabic is a broken language of Aramaic. Just like when it comes to the Bible, if you really don't know Greek or actual Hebrew, you're never gonna understand that Bible. You're not. You're just gonna go off what the English terminology and all these fucking different translations is telling you. That's why everybody assumes the Bible contradicts itself. The Bible does not contradict itself. And it states very clearly, you cannot add or subtract from the word of God. You cannot do that. But that's what's been happening over all these years. That's why I brought up the Dead Sea Scrolls. Why is the book of Enoch in the Dead Sea Scrolls? Which the Dead Sea Scrolls is thousands of years old before any one of them books hit. Y'all do know that, right? It's older than all of them.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
But they don't want to touch on the Dead Sea Scrolls. You know why? Because it contradicts their bullshit doctrine. The Book of Wars is in there, the Dead Sea Scroll. The Book of Enoch is in there. The Book of Jubilees. The Book of Daniel is in there. Pretty much a lot of the Old Testament is in there.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
If, let's say I'm like, all right, look, I want to go back to the beginning and I want to get an actual understanding of what is really going on, where would you guide me first? Where would you say, okay, look, start here to really begin to understand the true meaning and the truth in this Bible and in the Quran and just an overall understanding? Where would you say begin?
It depends on what a person is. If you asking me, I will first figure out what that person is, right? Like somebody like yourself who wants to understand, I would just tell you to just start with the Bible. If you're trying to figure out the whole knowledge. Is that what you're asking, or I heard you wrong?
Yeah, but no, you're right. But it's like based off of what you just said, okay, the Bible, it's pretty much, it was set out to confuse and to have you not understand. So to gain that understanding, like would you say, okay, look, start looking into a certain language first and then go read?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now I understand your question. But yes, I would say, right, try to learn actual Hebrew. Try to learn Greek. Get the Septuagint. Because once you understand the language, right? Because I had to learn, right, what the actual Hebrew they teach today, right? That's called Hebrew, but we call it Yiddish. Then once I figured out, oh, this is Yiddish, they added vowels to it. Because back then we didn't speak in vowels. Our letters wasn't vowels. If you look at the actual alphabets in those tablets, like that tablet he put up, there's no vowels in that writing. That is called Paleo Hebrew, or what we call Yahweh Dayat. Does that make sense? But they'll say Hebrew, which meaning we're speaking in English. So that's what they speak today over there in Israel. Yiddish, where they added the vowels. We didn't speak in vowels. We automatically, the sounds from our voice was the sound of vowels. That's where you get Abba. Abba. Right? Means father. So them the different things you have to learn. And then going to you, Krista, also the book names. Yes, the whole thing is translation. The whole book, the name, everything. But this was done intentional, right? Because when the King James Version came and a lot of these versions came, they was only written that way. So another people who only spoke Greek or spoke this or spoke English, they wanted us to understand it. But you got to be careful about the person who's translating it. Because what if that person don't know what they're talking about? Just like when they took the Dead Sea Scrolls and was trying to rewrite some of the things that was in the Dead Sea Scrolls, you know, that's when some things got misconstrued. Because no, the Dead Sea Scrolls actually says what it is. But they didn't added vowels, added this. Like these stones are all over the world. That's why they have some of them in museums. But the writings is right there. It's like pictograph on the pyramids. You know why they don't mess with them pictographs? It's because they know them people wrote that shit so strong in them stones or in them pyramids and the writings on the wall. Like, you don't want to touch that. Why? Now they just turn it into a tourist site. But back then, that's what they did. They wrote on the stones. Just like the Ethiopian church he brought up, right? If you, and well, I don't know if Charlie want to play the rest of it, but sometimes
If you want me to, just let me know.
No, I was just not because that'll throw it off. But I was going to say the Ethiopian church he's talking about, right? That church is built out of actual stone. It's been there forever. And this is what he preached out of this Ethiopian Bible. The priest still there today still protects that fucking church. They go climb all the way up into a mountain. That video is on YouTube. I think I showed y'all one time. So yes, my advice would be, you know, try to learn the language. Just like Ethiopians, they know Ge'ez, so to them, nothing is translated for them. So they understand Ge'ez. They don't got multiple different translations of the Ethiopian Bible. It's in their language, just like the Quran is. But for some reason, when it came to this Bible, they got it all, my Lord. Got so many different fucking translations, it's crazy. But once you know it, T-Banks, or you know the language, you start there. Then the Bible will make sense. Going back to where y'all asking, well, why is it G-O-D, and then you got G-O-D-S. And then you got the lowercase G-O-D-S. But that's talking about other gods. It's not talking about the actual Elohim. That's plural. It's not talking about that. And I'm having to use these words because a lot of y'all in America, this is what y'all used to. Elohim, this, and like, how can his name be Jesus? And the letter J ain't even, there was no letter J at that time.
No, that's a fact.
Like, it's like, which I get it. It should be common sense, but you know, you go to church, you're programmed to just whatever the preacher say, believe what he said. But this is the reason why a lot of people is walking away from the Christian church, because some of that stuff is just not adding up to their spirit, their soul, and they're just like, wait a minute, something just ain't right about this. But the Bible does not contradict itself when you actually know the language or what this meant or what that meant. Any more questions, or we can finish watching the rest of it? Because I did. Yeah, he mentioned something. Shit, I was doing something. I couldn't respond fast enough.
I can play. Give me a second to run back there.
No, I mean, yeah, because he was mentioning, remember y'all said y'all was just listening, but he was mentioning some books and some names. But just like I said, Genesis is called Bereshit in Yiddish today. That's
Bereshit, for real?
Bereshit. Bereshit means Genesis.
With a V? Are you saying Bereshit?
Sheet, like S-H-E-I-T-H.
Oh, that's crazy.
Bear, B-E-R, a sheet.
Yeah, I was saying E or V,
Yeah.
so Bereshit. Okay.
Yeah. But
okay, you want me to roll it? He ain't got much more on here.
But definitely like and repost the space, you guys. We live on Twitter right now, YouTube and Twitch. Definitely, if you're not following me on Twitter, definitely follow me here on X at Freddie Roosevelt. And definitely follow me on Twitch as well, Freddie Roosevelt over there, and Mr. Freddie Roosevelt on YouTube. Shout out to Facebook
Not
users
Mr.
over there, and shout out to shut up, girl. And shout out to everybody that's on Facebook, Laderberg Facebook friends.
Yeah, shout out
Shout out to you
everybody.
guys. What you rewinding it, girl?
Oh yeah, I'm trying to find a spot that here we go. Right here in the book. Okay, y'all ready? Okay.
Yeah, like that language right there. Before you press play,
tablets,
do
the
it.
emerald
Pause
tablets
it
of
again.
Velt.
Right there. Pause, hurry up. Like y'all do understand, like, right? That tablet right there. See, this is the research you have to do. What language is that? This is how they used to write on stones. Like we got paper and pen today. They used to write on stone. But that's not actual Hebrew. This is I think it's called Sumerian text, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But I forget the name of the text. But go ahead, Trevor. That's the one I wanted you to get to see. That's the Egyptians. That's the hieroglyphs. There was one you had. I was trying to show you the actual language. This is still from the pyramid.
Beings that came from outside of Earth to Earth from different places potentially. But these Anunnaki, these are the original Atlantean people. They created an Atlantean civilization. How do I know this? The tablets, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, which is my first book, is about the Emerald Tablets. It's a bestseller right now. It's #1 out of 3 million books on Amazon. Why? Because it's talking about the gentleman that ruled over the land of Chem before it was called Egypt for 14,000 years. He left behind these tablets that he authored himself. He didn't have a scribe write them. Back in the day, it was typical. If you were considered a god, you would have a scribe write your work. He wrote them himself. He talks about the Great Flood. He talks about civilization declining and having to be brought back to a high level. He talks about all this stuff in the Emerald Tablets. And he covers everything from A to B. He talks about having technology in the Emerald Tablets. He has a ship that doesn't sail in the ocean. It flies into the sky until the earth disappears, until he gets to a place appointed, and then it descends from the sky back down to the land. This is 36,000-year-old text. And what's interesting about this text, where Jesus is talking in the Bible, quoted as being saying things in the New Testament of the Bible.
That was the actual language
I
I
have
was just
side by
about.
side the verses from the Bible
He's
and
talking about the Emerald Tablets.
verses from Thoth the Atlantean.
But you probably ain't gonna be able to get it though. Because what I was showing you was right. This oh shit, what happened? You went back too far, didn't you? Oh shit, girl. Yeah, it went by so fast. Because he's talking about the Emerald Tablets, right? That's the story of Thoth and the Atlantis, which all this is true. And it is. That shit is like almost 40,000 years ago. It was coming up right after that trailer.
So before or after?
No, it's after this right here. It's after this image.
What about this?
I think you just went straight past it because it went by so fast. It was right before that book.
Okay, I'm gonna leave
Just
it
press
right
play.
here.
Press play, and then I'm gonna tell you when to pause it.
I'm gonna leave it right here. Okay.
You're just gonna have to be
He
real
talks
quick.
about the Great Flood. He talks
I'm gonna
about
tell you when to pause it.
civilization declining and having to be brought back to a higher level. He talks about all this stuff in the Emerald Tablets. And he covers everything from A to B. He talks about having technology in the Emerald Tablets. He has a ship that doesn't sail in the ocean. It flies into the sky until the earth disappears, until he gets to a place appointed, and then it descends from the sky back down to the land. This is 36,000-year-old
Right
text.
there. Right there.
And
Stop it. Stop it. That. You see that language right there? That's the language I'm actually talking about. Now, mind you, this is written on the pyramids. Boatman, are you there, Boatman? I wonder if he's there.
So that's the Yahweh Dayat right there.
Yes. That's actual Hebrew. Boy, this is before ain't no Quran. And all of this is being discussed in the Emerald Tablets and, in different sacred books. That's why it's called the Sacred Mysteries. But they'll tell you this language is not real. They've turned this language right there that you're looking at, they've made that what they speak in Israel today. That's why I said they added the vowels to that. That's the lettering. But go ahead, Trelly. Mind you, this shit written in stone thousands of years ago. Go ahead, Big Wig. She must have ran back to the.
Yeah, she probably about to draw back there now, getting her workout in.
what's
for the evening.
interesting about this text, where Jesus is talking in the Bible, quoted as saying things in the New Testament of the Bible, I have side by side the verses from the Bible and the verses from both the Atlantean. Guess what? They're the same. But which came first, the chicken or the egg? One is 2,000 years old, and the other one is 36,000 years old.
Now, that's
a lot of the
different
stuff in
conversation
Egypt,
right there, what he just
in the
said.
dynastic era, was already there when dynastic era started. So a lot of the things that are really super megalithic and really old were there. They inherited those things. If you go to Mexico, where the Teotihuacan complex is located, which is a mirror of the Giza plateau with the three pyramids aligning with Orion, the pyramid of the sun, pyramid of the moon, and so forth, those structures were there before the Mayans got there. And even the Mexicans will tell you that the Mayans inherited what was, they built nothing. They even teach that in the university. They built nothing. Matter of fact, the Mayans didn't know who built that stuff, so they named them Teotihuacan. That's where the name came from. But when you go to the ancient text, you find out who
You need
built
to do
it.
your research on
So
that.
the Atlantean who ruled over the land of Chem,
Okay.
ancient Egypt, he left because he was battling with his brother Marduk in the Bible. But Marduk is also known to the Egyptians as Amun-Ra. This is why people say amen at the end of every prayer. He's the one who said, at the end of everything, giving thanks, you say my name. That's where amen comes from. He left because of battling with his brother, and he went to Mesoamerica, and he took Olmecs with him. And they kickstarted and built the Teotihuacan civilization. So the evidence is all there. It's all in tablets. Everywhere I go in Egypt, I'm famous because I'm saying the things that they want to say. We did a live podcast on the Nile, and the Egyptologist was there. And she said, we love Billy because he's saying the things that we can't say or we'll lose our jobs. And we believe everything he's saying. We know this for a fact. We grew up learning about this thing, the real truth about our history, but we can't speak it to the general population or we're in big trouble. But they've already adopted it. The Egyptologists, the homegrown ones, have already adopted this information. The foreign ones haven't. But the big problem with this information is that it's detrimental to the system and the status quo. It literally would break down religious systems overnight. You're talking about a multi-trillion-dollar system. A religious system collapse globally would definitely affect the global economy almost overnight. But that will go away because people realize the information that they have been brought up learning is actually severely inaccurate, and that the information is based on plagiarized tablets. And the real stories are in the tablets. A full, unedited, undoctored human, when I'm going to change these words around here and there, that's not done in the tablets. The tablets, what it says. when you come to the Bible, all of a sudden you get to a lot of texts like Jesus saying, honor your slave master as you would honor me. Do you think that just guy would really say something like that if he's all this light, he's a light being, and he's all about love and salvation, and then he's telling you now, no, you better obey that slave master? Come on, that's somebody, let me write this in there because it's going to benefit us. When you write this in, we can tell the slaves, hey, you see what Jesus said? You better listen to Jesus. So this is a lot of twisting and turning. The Bible is a remix, is what it really is. And so all of a sudden you bring this real information, all this stuff collapses overnight.
There's
We're
my
talking
question.
about a multi-trillion-dollar control system.
The Bible is a remix.
Like that's why I love the tablets, because I know, I'm not saying they're 100% accurate, but they're as close as I can possibly get. I'm taking out all these other.
I said, what was your question?
Red boy, my phone was in my pocket. What up, Red boy? No, I was asking, definitely like and reshare the space, my boy. But no, I was saying, do y'all think or believe that the Bible was remixed? Because what he's saying is, right, he just showed you. You said absolutely. Why do you think?
Yes, because of the simple fact, just the way that the wording is. Like one thing, hey, baby, one thing I know for sure is that when they brought the slaves off the ships, the first thing that they taught them was that Bible. And I know for a fact that they use that Bible to control them, essentially. So it's going to be put together in a manner to where it's set up for control, not enlightenment, as far as the translation goes. I want to be able to control the people, so I want them to read this book and think the way that I want them to think, not necessarily in a way that will allow them to think for themselves or be enlightened or have the understanding of who they really are, if that makes sense.
Right. Anybody else? Because that's a long battle within itself. There is a lot of people who truly believe, a lot of the Bible and the books, they just plagiarism from, the Emerald tablets. That's what he just showcased, right? The story of Isis, Osiris, and Horus, they saying that's the replica of that story. The Jesus and the Mary Magdalene, Mary, virgin birth, rather, I should say. Jesus and his mother. But it is like, and that's the reason why I stay away from religion, right? Not to offend nobody, like this ain't personal, but even the Bible tells you religion is vain. Shout out to King Solomon for saying that. But I think religion, that's what they're using to control a lot of people, right? With some of the doctrine they're pushing today, in my opinion. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, my man. I'm eating right now.
Y'all ain't got no question?
No, I completely agree with that. Like when it comes to pretty much any religion, it's put on the people to get them to move in a certain manner. Not necessarily
control population.
Exactly. Because again, that goes back to, if you control the information, you control the people. At that point in time, this was the information. This is the information that if you had control of it, you control those people. So it would almost make sense that, yes, things were plagiarized, changed around, tweaked, and made different to fit the type of control that they wanted.
Or could it be that, okay, the story of Egypt, right? Jesus had to go to Egypt and learn. Remember that? Jesus was a little kid. He was learning in Egypt. Do y'all recall that story in the Bible or no? So a lot of this stuff that, what if somebody took the information, what they learned in Egypt or during that time, wherever they got their information, then they took that same information back to their people. And that's how it spread. As they told the story based off their language or their communication. Red Boy crazy. Red Boy said, what in the Bible study going? No, Red Boy, because what's going on is, right, we was addressing this book of Enoch. So a lot of people, Trelly felt like the story of Noah, she thought, or posed the question, what if Noah's ark was really a ship? And I said, girl. So she played this dude, Billy Carson, that's who we watching or listening to, him say that he think it's a spaceship. So that's how we ended up getting here. So as I'm listening to it, then a lot of people, some say that the book of Enoch it's not biblical. When in actuality, it is. But it's a reason why they didn't want the book of Enoch to be a part of those 66 books of the Bible. Just like they didn't want the Apocrypha. the book of Jubilees, the book of Maccabees, all these different books. They didn't want them books in there. Like
It's
Abraham
called
has a
hiding
book.
the truth, hiding the truth.
Yes. Because a lot of those books, they don't go along with the doctrine that the Roman Catholic Church pushed. That's why the Roman Catholic Church so powerful. You get what I'm saying? Because if they can dictate the information or they can control it, like the Knights of Templar. Matter of fact, pull some up on the Knights Templar. Because then you say earlier how powerful the Knights Templar that story
Yeah, that
is.
whole story is
So, yeah.
crazy.
What do you actually know about the Knights Templar?
Absolutely nothing but just what I've heard.
That's what I'm saying.
And
What did you hear? Just
things
what you
from like the Book of Enoch and who they were, the group of people. This shit is crazy and what their beliefs
the
are.
Knights Templar?
Yes, but I don't.
You know, that's
I'm
the
not
crusade.
good at
That's the
it.
crusade. Yeah, the Knights Templar is the
Yes, I'm not
crusade. They
good
was
at.
the
I
ones
don't
who
know
was
nothing
protecting
about
a lot
that.
of stuff.
Yeah, and
Oh,
see,
yeah.
and that, and
Oh, you
like
gotta
that's my
pull
whole.
that. You go find that somewhere on YouTube.
From my
Or the
understanding,
Knights Templar. Go ahead, T.
from my understanding, the Knights Templar, there was like pretty much a selected group of people, like you said, to protect certain information, to protect certain knowledge. Whether I mean, I don't know if that was necessary biblical knowledge
They wanted to
or
be
whatever.
Saladin. I'm gonna start you there.
And my phone about to go dead. Give me 1 second, but I can pull up Knights Templar because I can still play that from my computer. It don't
Okay.
have
Yeah, I
nothing
had
to
to
do with
charge
my
my
phone. Give
phone.
me a second.
Yeah, I probably need to put mine on. No, but T Banks, remember that boy Saladin you say you were watching? The Knights
Yeah.
Templar thought they was him. They thought they was him. But the Knights Templar was protecting, you know, this Christianity history.
Okay.
And if you wasn't saying you by their rules, they did you bad. And they kept a lot of those secrets. And the Pope knows this.
But
Yeah.
so the books that were taken out by the Council of Nicaea, is that correct?
Yes.
They were okay. So the books that were taken out by the Council of Nicaea, when they took those out, even if they would have stayed in, would it have contradicted the rest of the scriptures?
Yes. But it wouldn't have contradicted the scriptures, right? It would have contradicted their doctrine. That's what they was protecting. Because they don't.
They don't
Boy,
what?
you better be glad we ain't, because there's some shit I wanted to say, but it's certain things they was protecting, right? So it wasn't contradicting the Bible or the scriptures, it just was contradicting their doctrine. Like,
It
and what the
contradicted
rules
what they
are.
wanted to push.
Right. Okay. Let me say it this way and hopefully you get it, right? There's if you add the Apocrypha, right? Which the Apocrypha has the book of Maccabees, these different books that's in there, right? It talks about the Hellenization of a certain group of people, right?
The what?
You can't hear me?
Yeah, you said the what? The whatnization? What's a Hellenization?
Hellenization. Basically, was the time when the Israelites had to denounce themselves as being actual Hebrew Israelites. And I'm not talking about them groups today, which they understand this. But where I'm going with this is, right? Let's just say that very powerful group Kanye West keep talking shit about. That those 400 years that was missing, which is the Apocrypha book that explains how a lot of the actual Hebrew Israelites denounced being a certain group of people, and they had to change their names, and they was whipped and killed to say, no, we're not this, we're Greek. They had became Greeks at that time. And then you had another certain group of people.
Holy order. God.
Oh shit. Yeah, pause right quick. But then you had this certain group of people, right? So if that is added, right? Or if they say the Apocrypha, because you got the book in
First, glorified.
Hold on, Trevor. Hold on. Okay. You know the Bible ends with Malachi. Then it begins with Matthew, with the New Testament. Those 400 years that's missing, right? That gap, that's the book of that's called the Apocrypha, which Jesus was quoting out the Apocrypha. So, but if you add the Apocrypha and say, yes, this is biblical as well, but then now it's a certain group of people who had to denounce who they were. So another certain group of people can come along and basically now they claiming to be this group of people. You catching on? I'm talking in circles because that's some whole other shit. Boatman.
No, I'm listening.
Yeah, so that's the reason why, to push that agenda. Because if they add the Apocrypha, then now, oh shit, well, that's the group of people that's from the Bible, not this group. Does that make sense? So it wouldn't, none of the lost books, or what they call them the lost books, none of those books wouldn't contradict the scripture. It would contradict their bullshit lies and doctrine about who a certain group of people are and what they represent. Hopefully you're getting what I'm saying. Because you know, boy, they get on your head by talking about them folks. Did she come back in? What happened? Hold on. Look at her.
Who gone?
Big wig. I'm talking about big wig. I think she must have lost the connection.
Who moving on
Oh, she
computer
looking for
around?
it. She looking for it. She must be looking for it. But shout out to everybody that's here live on Twitter. Definitely repost the space. Definitely drop a comment because
What up, Red Bull?
I'm checking the comments as
Red
well.
Boy here?
Yeah, Red Boy here.
Oh, where
Red Bull on that X.
Red Boy here.
Oh, boy.
Jesse said at the end of the day, God knew his word
Yeah,
was
what?
going to be poorly translated and hidden. The base of his word is plain and simple. I think we get caught up in having all the facts, we miss the big picture.
Fat and Jesse, I'm with Jesse on that. See, everybody, I think everybody's so caught up in wanting to know or wanting to prove everybody else wrong that we start to we get lost in the sauce. Like we trying to complicate something. I think that we trying to complicate something that God made so simple. I don't know. I sound what?
Okay, why are you saying that? Number one, because she says at the end of the day, God knew his word was going to be poorly translated. No, let's go back to the Old Testament, what they're not teaching, right? He automatically, when he split the languages and say, none of y'all will ever speak one language again. Mm-hmm. So he knew at that moment, but that's when he told them that, right? For trying to do that Jacob Ladders mess. So now, but what she's explaining is, or what you're saying, right? Because you got to be her voice at this moment. So if he knew that his word would be, misinterpreted and all this old kind of stuff, what's your point behind that? Or what, based off what she's saying?
I mean,
by getting cut up into all the facts, because the facts needs to be the facts. Because
yeah,
if we
but
can't,
it doesn't negate every. Go ahead.
What I'm saying is, so if we ain't gonna negate the facts, then Christopher Columbus discovered America. In the story, that's the truth. Leave it alone. I don't want to hear nothing about nothing else. You see how that works? So when y'all say this, well, what did she say? Getting caught up all into what's facts and what's not. So okay, so fuck it. Christopher Columbus discovered America. Is that facts today? Or is that the facts they told you in that schoolhouse?
You moving the goalpost.
Who?
When you
I'm
talking
not
about
moving
Christopher Columbus.
No. But what I'm saying is, right, one thing the Most High always understood was, right, is that people would play games with his word. That's why he stated in the Bible, don't add or subtract from the word of God.
Correct.
That means soon as the moment you translate it into something else, you are already in violation. Because misinterpretation of it is a problem. That's why it was supposed to be holy. The word was supposed to be holy. Mm-hmm. What does holy mean in the Bible? That means to separate. So that word is supposed to be separate from anything bullshit. So what are you saying? Like, come on, because you don't want to speak for us. You say you agree with Jesse, right? And you saying that, okay, yada, yada. And that's why I think where y'all can be mind manipulated into believing whatever you want to believe when it comes to that book. So then just believe Jesus is a white man and his name is Jesus. You might as well believe that too. That's what you've been taught.
No, I don't believe that.
But I'm saying, but I'm saying, is that not what's being preached? Or is that not what's being promoted as facts? Or are we getting too caught up into what's real, what's fake, what's the facts, what's false? You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. No, I'm asking you. Oh, I want you to stand behind what Jesse said, because you apparently you agreed. Oh, you need to back up here. You can't see. Okay. Let me show you can't see. Why don't you reread what she said?
Hold on. It just popped up on the screen. The book of Enoch is one of my favorite. Job is another. No, stay home. At the end of the day, God knew his word was going to be poorly translated and hidden. The base of his word is plain and simple. I think we get caught up in having all the facts. We miss the big picture. Do you
so that's
agree?
what you was agreeing to.
Yeah.
Who? Agree with what? You asking me, do I agree?
No,
I'm
no,
saying,
I do agree. I do agree with that. We get caught up. We get caught up with trying to find all of the facts that we miss the big picture.
okay, so what's the big picture then? Let's go with that.
Hey, that's I knew you was gonna ask that question. That's a good question. What is the big picture?
So you don't know. So you saying we so caught up into what's right and what's wrong, or what's facts and what's false, that
No,
we missed the big picture. So what would be the big picture if it's so plain and simple? What is the big picture? What is so plain and simple that we should just get the big picture? Because if it's that simple, then we should know what the big picture is. That's why I'm asking you. Or do she want to put it in the chat?
yeah, you gotta ask her that question.
No, but I'm talking to her. You her representation right now.
I'm not her. I'm not her nigga. I'm not her man.
You might as well be. You might as well
No,
be.
not me.
You jumped out the window with it.
No,
Yeah, I agree with Jesse. What she
I
just said.
do.
You was
Now,
all agreeing.
I agree with what you say, but I don't. At the end
Okay,
of the day,
so let me ask you this. What's the purpose of the Bible? What is the purpose? Like T Banks made a great point about the point of the Quran. Y'all good, clean Christians. Y'all go to church every day and Bible study, and you don't know the purpose of it, or why you reading that book? Make it make sense.
Well, the Bible, to me, the Bible is an instruction for life. It's an instruction booklet for how. It's an instruction booklet for how to live life. Plain and simple.
Okay, I've heard that before. It's just some instruction. Now read what is she talking about now? The problem isn't the facts. The problem is how people interpret and perceive the facts. At the end of the day, nobody's alive from back then. All we have are books written by other people. Rather right or wrong, if you don't have a spiritual connection with God, no amount of knowledge will ever be facts unless it comes from the source. Oh my Lord. She might well be atheist.
Don't do Jesse like that.
Huh?
Don't do that, Jesse.
No, but we need to dissect that. Let's dissect that. Because what she's saying is, right, there's a lot of people that feel like, well, as long as I got this connection with God, I'm good. Is that not what she's saying? It's not. She's saying the problem ain't the facts. It's people and how they interpret you or perceive the facts. At the end of the day, nobody is alive from back then. All we have are books written by other people. That's key right there, right? Okay, let's go with that. These are books or scrolls that was written by the hands of other people, right? God himself didn't write it. Okay. So if you don't have a spiritual connection with God, here we go. With the spiritual connection with God, no amount of knowledge will ever be facts unless it comes from the source. That make sense. That's the problem with society to me. Not her and her comment, because there's a lot of people who believe that, Yachty.
Believe what?
That last part she said, right? No amount of knowledge will ever be facts unless it comes from the source, meaning she's talking about God himself. It can never be facts unless it comes from him actually. But folks will tell you all day long, they seen God and they talk to God and so is that the source? Is them voices in your head? Is that the source? The person in your head that's telling you, now you know you shouldn't do that. What voice is that? Is that the source? Come on, I'm asking you. Just based off what she said.
How you asking? How you asking me?
Oh, you don't know, but because I know what rabbit hole she's talking about, in which, some people, that's the road they're gonna take. They think as long as they got that spiritual connection with God, they're good. They don't have to understand the wisdom. That's why I said earlier, but because it wasn't meant for everybody to have that book in their hand. But some people are play with astrology. They'll play with that. They'll play with that zodiac. They'll tell you they can read your charts and all this whole extra shit, right? What do you think is the source of that?
So you said it's not so.
No, I didn't say that's what you're saying, Jesse. I'm just saying at the end of the day, I understand that concept, what you're talking about. Go ahead, Yada.
But do you not think that everybody should have access to the book in their hand now?
No.
Absolutely not. Because you're gonna steer somebody wrong.
That's why we here.
Exactly.
This is why it's confusion. Go ahead, T Banks. You kind of low.
Oh my bad. No, but
yeah, you're right. The word was given. Well,
but see, here's the whole
priest,
thing.
Right?
Yes, it was given to a certain. It was given to a certain group,
a certain tribe of people,
and that's all they did. They
the
studied
Levites, right?
The Levites. Yeah.
Okay. and they studied that. So now when you take that and then you put that book in everybody's hands, now everybody is going to have their own interpretation of it all. You got two people who can look at the same car and give you two completely descriptions of that vehicle. One person is right, the other one may be dead off wrong, dead ass wrong, but they'll go to other people and give that dead ass wrong description and they'll take it for truth. So no, everybody does not necessarily need the books in their hands. People who actually want to sit back and understand and know how to actually teach it and want to put out the truth and have an understanding of what that truth is and how to find that truth, those are the individuals who need to have it in their hand. Not somebody who just want to sit back here and say, oh, I got the knowledge and this is my interpretation of it. No, they got to have a basis of what that truth actually is. Yes, all these books have been written and by the hands of other people, but who's not to say that these people at the time of them writing that book, that God won't right there with them? You see what I'm saying? They're tapped in with that
Or
source
he
while
was
they're
being the
writing this
source.
book.
Exactly. Or he was
You
being
see?
the source.
Exactly.
To write it.
So that's why it's like, you know what I mean? No, everybody doesn't need to have it, but everybody does need to have some type of understanding. And then that's what's going to guide them to a higher level of understanding. It's going to guide them to a higher level of knowledge, whichever way they may want to take that. But Yadi, to answer your question, no, everybody does not need that book in their hand, because at that point in time, this is where you have the mass confusion. Because now one person telling it this way, another person telling it this way, another person telling it this way, and now can't nobody agree on nothing.
Boatman, he quiet now.
Don't get quiet now.
Good to me. It's good to me.
Don't get quiet now.
Big Wig, you back?
Yeah,
She might be burning the kitchen. Oh, you
Now
back.
she burned the kitchen down.
You burned the kitchen down yet?
indeed.
You know what that mean? That boy with a packing her motherfucking ass up.
Mm-hmm.
Packed up. He is not letting her. What? Don't it be for some reason? Every time you get online and try to get a little work in, well, everybody either calling your phone or worrying this shit out you. They be doing the most.
Oh, that's a fact. That's a fact. And baby girl, she was just in here throwing a whole fit. Cause mama just gave her a bath and she came out this young. That's why I was quiet for a good minute. Cause I'm like, yeah, she was hot with everybody. I said, okay, let's get her to calm down a little bit. I'm gonna step outside. But nah, yo, this
Red boy say he the son of Abraham. I'm teaching Abraham is something else, boy. I don't think a lot of people even know about Abraham book though. I know the Catholic Church, they still got it in their Bible, the Abraham book. But what else questions y'all got? Or what y'all want to discuss about that? Because I definitely believe in the Bible. I believe in all the lost books, the books that was removed. They actually, the book of Jubilees, right? Oh my God, it's a great book. And I'm with Red Boy. I think you said earlier too about the book of Job. Job, that's a good ass fucking book too. That's what he mentions about the constellations and the zodiac and the 12 signs. That's why that number 12 is mentioned so much in the Old Testament and the New Testament. 12 is a key number.
Now see, now here's my question. Okay.
What's up?
Because a lot of religions, they're like, yo, no, you believe in the Bible, you shouldn't be playing with astrology, or you shouldn't believe in astrology, but it's in the book.
Exactly. When he's talking to Job. Yep. When he's talking to Job.
So it's like
the word Mazaroth, that's talking about zodiac. When God is responding, or the Most High is responding to Job and said, can you tell me about the Mazaroth, the 12 signs of the zodiac? That's what that word means right there. So that means he created the zodiac. So if he created the zodiac or the 12 zodiac signs, how the fuck is the zodiac signs is bad? And he's telling Job, shut the fuck up. You don't know nothing about the constellations. You can't count the stars. Red boy, oh, I know that book of Job, boy, that's a good one. Job kept asking all them goddamn questions, and he pulled up on Job and told Job all that. Mazaroth is the 12 zodiac signs. T-Banks. So how they gonna tell you should know or understand the zodiac? They say that's not your understanding.
But that goes back to the fact of why everybody shouldn't have that book in their hands, because they're going to omit certain things that they personally don't agree with. I personally believe, oh yeah, you shouldn't believe in astrology because you believe in the Bible. Well, hold on. If you read the whole Bible and you have that true understanding of the Bible, then you'll understand that the zodiacs are also in the Bible. So if I believe in the Bible, then I should believe in the zodiacs, right or wrong.
Exactly. How do you think they was building all those temples back then? With that map.
Exactly. You got two different sets of pyramids on two opposite sides of the world that are reflecting essentially a constellation, Orion's belt, or if you want to call it the Sirius star system.
Yep.
But hey, I mute up.
We knew all that knowledge back then, though. See, that's when we had a higher conscious. Well, we understood certain things. We dressed a certain way. We talked a certain way. Certain things we just understood. Now, just over time, we all out of goddamn mind. But I'll go back to the main question because you told me to make it, what is human history? So at this point, I would like to know from anybody. So what would y'all consider human history?
Now, see, that's a difficult question. Like, that's why I gave you the title, because at the end of the day, you can say human history is going to go back to the Anunnaki. You can say human history is going to be going back to the biblical text. We can say human history is the unknown.
But you know, the Anunnaki is mentioned in biblical text.
No.
Or the Nephilims.
Whoa. You see what I'm saying?
What do you think the giants is, all of that? What do you think Noah was? When she want to say Noah basically built the spaceship. Do you not know Noah basically apparently this is a story, right? When you read the Bible. Noah's father is an Anunnaki or a watcher.
Which has it, right?
Anunnaki and the watchers are the same. There's just some people say watchers, some people say Anunnakis. Noah's father is a watcher, aka an Anunnaki. You do know this, right? That's why they say Noah was born basically looking albino. See, most people don't know this.
Yeah, Noah great granddaddy is Enoch.
It's Enoch. But that's a whole nother, what you bringing that up now when you think about that, right? Let's go to the Adam and Eve story. Because people will say when you're talking about, oh, it wasn't other people on the planet, but everybody died, right? So if it was only Adam and Eve, when Cain was banished, right? How did Cain go find a wife in the land of Nod? He found multiple wives.
Because it was all different tribes out there.
There was a whole bunch of other people there. So when Noah and his family came, I think you said that, right? So when they got off the quote unquote, you want to call it a ship, you think they was the only people there? No. No. There was always people on populating the planet.
Let me say how we know for real, that Adam and Eve was the new beginning after a revelation that happened before we even know about it. And
That's
that
correct.
was a new beginning.
That's correct.
And it just wasn't, we don't have the scripts for that. We don't have the
yes, we do.
information of what happened before Adam and Eve.
He just told you wasn't listening. Billy
Oh,
Carson,
maybe I missed it.
He's bringing up the Emerald tablets. Do you not know that's before Adam and Eve?
Okay.
You know, she was running back and forth.
Yeah, I'm cooking
No,
dinner.
but she said she watch him all the time. So if she watches him all the time, the Emerald
I'm saying
tablets,
the end of the world. I'm talking about how they saying the great flood destroyed this and that. Then we, right now in our Bible, we have Revelations. That time shall come. Then will it be?
Wait, hold on. What you
Revelations? Okay, so it was a Revelations too. Then, like we have our Bible right now, we read about Revelation as what shall pass in that book. But that, what we are calling the end, will be the beginning for some new shit and new writings and new shit to be spoken about biblically. So our ending will be the beginning of a whole new Adam and Eve. That's all I'm saying.
Wait a minute. Can you translate that?
Our revelations will be the beginning of a new Adam and Eve.
You talking about humanity
it's gonna start
today?
over. Yep.
What if
It's
it's
gonna start
already
over
started?
again.
And that's why I'm making you, because I think I'm hearing you properly. What if we're already in the new Adam and Eve system?
We are.
That's what I'm
But
saying. So
we haven't gotten to, if the Bible is real, we haven't gotten to Revelations yet. I think we on our way.
why we
That
haven't?
could be. It's not all the way fully fulfilled. I'm still waiting to see the Antichrist and all this shit.
If you
You know,
think
we
an
got the
Antichrist is
plagues
coming,
now. We got the plagues. All that has happened.
you
We
do
had
know that's
COVID.
where do it say in Revelations that we'll have another plague?
We had it already. It would be
Exactly.
7. They talk about locusts, all this shit that's gonna be bad in
But
Revelations, gonna take us down, and then it's gonna be in wars and fights, and then it's gonna be one Antichrist that everybody love this nigga, and they gonna believe he is coming, he is the Lord himself, and he shall make everything happy again. We haven't gotten there yet. Shit is fucked up still.
See,
I guess you're gonna say for who? Who is it fucked up for?
no. That's not what I'm gonna say. What I'm saying is this, right? You wasn't following along because you just going off what you understand, right? What I'm saying is everything what you're saying, right? If you saying what if I'm telling you what if we already in the new Adam and Eve? You got to remember how these life cycles work. What do you think the Aquarian age is? You know, we just got out the age of Pisces. How many years we was? You know how many years we was under the age of Pisces? Do you not know what what's going into the Aquarian age mean? When we're talking about the constellation, when we're talking about the zodiac and what that actually means, when they was lying saying, oh, by the year 1999, the world would end.
And I believe that shit. I was at work scared as hell.
No. What I'm saying is this, right? You're waiting on revelations to happen. It already has. Have you ever thought about that? What if we're already in the new Adam and Eve system? Because why? What the fuck you think these robots and AI, these chips? What the fuck you think that's about?
And you know, I ain't gonna, and it had me thinking sometimes, right? When they talk about like the blood moon, like how many times in history has the moon gone red? It's happened when we wasn't here. It's happened when we was here,
What's
right?
the blood? What is he talking about? Go ahead. I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the science, right? Of the the end time.
No. What I'm saying is this, right? So apparently y'all, okay.
Y'all what? Go ahead.
No, because it's some things I have to protect depending on, because I definitely don't want some things, on recording. But y'all do understand what I'm saying. Everything has a time. It has a beginning, has an end. In the new time that we're in, I think somebody can, if Krista here, Krista GPT, find out what day did we actually start the Aquarian age? That was the new beginning. That was the new beginning. So we're out of, if she want to use the analogy of Book of Revelations, and you finna wait for all this stuff to happen. Oh, and ain't no Antichrist coming. I hope y'all know that. The Antichrist is right in our face if y'all want to keep calling an Antichrist, because that's not the actual word. It says Antichrist in English, right? But that's not what that means. You looking at them fucking robots? Y'all better pay attention to these robots. There go your motherfucking Antichrist. And pray to God, once they moving about, they don't start a war against us and take over this world. Like, that's going to be the crazy shit. That's why I said, what if we already in the new Adam and Eve? And then these robots going to have these memory with these quantum computing chips in their fucking brain and can absorb all this information and can become Trelly and know her whole history and her past and act like Trelly, look like Trelly, talk like Trelly, all this old kind of shit. And then she carry her story on. Nah, that's how your ass got cloned. Nah, that's some way out shit. But I'm just saying, what if that's the new shit that's going on? And it's to get rid of humanity. Y'all ain't never thought about that? What the fuck is it so important about these damn robots and making them think better than us? It means they don't need humans no more. Hello? Everybody on mute now. Hello?
Oh, I'm
Okay.
here. Oh, I'm here. No.
Like,
Like
Yes,
that
we
right
all
there.
are.
That right there. That makes so much sense. Because, like you said, if we're going to the basis of everything, we understand that the Bible is a translation. Okay, so it's not the original language. So there's going to be mass confusion. It's going to be words put in to have you think and move a certain way. But going back to the basis of it, again, if you, like you said, we just got the age of Pisces. Shout out to all the Pisces in the building. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, when you get out of certain ages, you have different things that happen. You know what I mean? You spoke about the blood moon, Yachty. Well, I think the last time the blood moon happened was in 1979, something like that. Or I believe it was 79 when I looked it up. But at that point in time, now we're in 2025 and there's just been a blood moon. Okay, so there's something else. There's another cycle that's beginning. Everything moves in cycles. Okay. So with that being said, yes, at one point in time you had the Adam and Eve from the old time. There was a mass event that wiped everything out. You had wars and everything going on back then. You had people back then who claimed that they were people, you know what I mean, of the book, and they were putting out all this, that, and the third. I guarantee there was somebody during that time in that quote unquote world that everybody loved. But he was probably spitting out a whole bunch of bullshit. Let's just say that's Constantine. Everybody loved Constantine, but he's spitting out bullshit. But everybody loved him. You see what I'm saying? So now we fast forward until now, everybody loves AI. It's AI, AI, AI. Everybody's so psyched about AI. So now AI comes about, and like Freddie said, now it's cloning who we are as people. Though AI won't have a soul. It's a machine. It's a machine that we input who we are into. That's the mark of the beast. That's the chip. You're gonna have it either on your forehead or what was it, your right hand or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's all these chips. When you get these shots, eventually, don't be surprised if, oh well, the shot that we have to give you, give me your right hand, give me your right hand, give me your right hand, and it's now you have a chip embedded in you. You don't even know it because you think you're just going to get one of your regular vaccines or getting some regular shit going on. Now that's beginning to implement that new age. Because now you don't even realize it. You got a whole daggone computer chip in you. And now you holding on to the mark of the beast, not even realizing it.
And most people don't even think about that, right? So it did. I guess it started around January 19th of this year. If y'all don't know, that's when the Aquarian age actually started. But it's somewhere in that window. But it basically started this year. But go ahead. But that mark of the beast, that is like most people is thinking like, or assume, right? Or they think that is those chips that they putting in them kids and that you can put in a human's body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, history do repeats itself, Red Boy. Red Boy's right about that.
Facts. And that's, you know what I mean? That's essentially what those cycles are. Is a
Right.
repeating of history. So when we sit back here, like you said, they had revelations back in their time. Okay. Certain things went down and they called those the revelations. Well, there are certain things in this time when the metal birds are falling out of the sky. How many plane crashes have we had? You see what I'm saying? How many wars are going on right now? Okay. We're in a point in time to where, all right, well, slowly but surely, a lot of these wars are coming to an end. Or some of them are still full-fledged, but there are still wars going on, and they're going on like crazy. So to think that, okay, we're not necessarily in the age of revelation, or it hasn't completed yet, yeah. But you're looking at it from a viewpoint to where, oh, it's going to be very distinct events. Where at the end of the day, when a cataclysm happens, it's going to be instantaneous. You're not even going to realize it. You just going to know, oh shit, this shit is going down right now. But at the end of the day, that's a part of the revelation. This world will go through another almost extinction level event. Whether it's with a pole change, whether it's with an asteroid hitting the Earth, there's going to be another extinction level event. But isn't that a part of the revelation as well? So to think that we're not in the time of revelation, nah, we definitely are. but it's a matter of how you view it and how you understand it to know exactly where we are within that revelation. But I yield the mic right there.
Look at Lady Bird. Now she over here. She over there playing. She working. Big Wig, you must be still busy. I want her to finish that little.
No, I'm absolutely good. I'm doing homework with the kiddos. Let me know if you want some videos, whatever you need. I got
Yeah,
you.
the
I'm
video I
here.
wanted you to play. Was you able to still play it?
Yeah, so you want the one
Nice
with, let me get
Templar.
back on my computer. Hold on.
Remember I asked you about the Nice Templar one.
Yeah, and I pulled up one. I just couldn't preview what it is. But here it is. If you're ready, let me know.
Not Lady Bird bald headed like you. Hold on.
Ain't too that much.
Uh-huh. You don't see Lady Bird on the picture. Hold on. Oh, it ain't. It's not even in here, girl. Big Wig. What's that? You didn't even bring it in here. T Banks. Well, why she do that?
Yeah, what up? What up?
Oh, damn, boy, I done forgot that fast. What the hell I was about to ask you?
Can y'all hear me at all?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can y'all see the video? Or am I still linked? Or
Remember, you
do I
got to
need to
bring it
redo
in.
it?
Yeah, you gotta bring the bot in.
The bot gone.
It's gone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Hold on. Y'all know I'm old. Give me 1 hour and 20 minutes. Hold on.
That's
Oh,
about
man.
right, too.
Yeah.
That's about right. Yeah, but human history, though, like, it's so crazy how so many different people have different perspectives on all of this shit, though. It's crazy.
And that's the point of it. You see what I'm saying? Because if everybody was on one accord, imagine how different things would be.
It's completely different.
Like we wouldn't necessarily have a ruling class. Everybody would be on the same page, understanding the same thing.
Right.
But again, this is
But
when,
hold
like you
on. Do I
said,
have to make the mic open on the bot? Or y'all can
No.
still just hear it? Okay.
no,
Yeah,
just share your screen.
You
Yeah.
just share the screen, remember? What did she say? Did y'all talk about heaven and hell?
From what
Or
I
our
understand,
bodies,
when
right?
Enoch went to heaven, he seen hell up there. But that's a whole nother conversation. So
No,
y'all
you
see
see
the
what
bot? What y'all want me to do?
you got to bring in the video. Remember, hit presentation or what it was called.
Oh, okay.
But Jesse gonna say, y'all see what she said on the screen, right?
Nah, hold on.
Did y'all talk about heaven and hell yet? And I have a question for the panel upstairs. Are our bodies a physical representation of us or our souls?
I'm gonna say that the physical body is legit an avatar. And the reason why I say that is because we know and we understand that when we die, our bodies, they decompose. They're not going to be here forever. But there is a part of us that is going to be here forever. And I mean, that's going to be your soul or your spirit, however you want to look at it. But these fleshly things that we're in, no, these are our avatars. We have our spirits and our souls that are going to carry on and move beyond this. Our spirit or our soul is going to experience that heaven or that hell. But you create that in your mind.
So you think the body represents our soul?
No,
Oh,
it's just an avatar. It's just
Avatar. What do you mean? Like Avatar the movie? And definitely you guys like and repost the space we live on X, YouTube, Facebook, and here on Twitter. But so what you're saying is, right? And definitely drop a like and a comment as well, because I can't see the comments. We can address the comments. And shout out to y'all for participating in this great conversation. But I think what she's asking, right? Like if we discuss in heaven or hell, right? So what happens to the body? Of course, the body goes back to the dust, right? But I think she's saying, are our bodies a physical representation of us or our souls? So I'm thinking as a two-part question, right? She's saying like basically the temple or the body that we in, is that a representation of our souls or who we truly is? Because I'm assuming she believes in life after death. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna. I'm you know what? I'm gonna say it like this. No, and here's my reason why. Because you have an individual who is born in a white neighborhood, got white mama and daddy, but they got more rhythm than your cousin Poo Poo down the street. And Poo Poo is the nigga of the niggas. You see what I'm saying? So does that mean that that body necessarily represents that soul? No. You
Thank
see what
you.
I'm saying?
Thank
So
you. Because that's what I was going to hit at. Because at
yeah,
the end of the day, when you think about it, right? If you believe in, right? Because you believe in a person can't come back and relive another life. So you thinking somebody can't come back and be a white man? You think they can't live, come back again, and they black? Then they leave and come back again. Now they Asian. So that temple has nothing to do with it. If
exactly.
you understanding why you basically reincarnate and keep coming back. So that body has no representation of that soul or spirit or what that person's journey is.
Facts. And then, you know what I mean? Like I said, that soul is what's going to experience that heaven or hell. Your body is just
But what's
is
heaven and hell? I think that's why she asking. But what's heaven and hell? Then we got to, from your perspective, what will be heaven and hell?
heaven and hell is pretty much a depiction of your best thoughts and your worst thoughts. Let's think about this. You sit here and you're terrified of water. You can't swim. You don't like you'll go to the pool just because you can stand up. So imagine your hell is a flood that happens in your city. That's your hell. Why? Because you fear that. That's your number one fear. That's going to be your hell. You may pass or you
So
may
you don't think
continue on.
hell is a certain like a place? When you die, you go to hell. You don't believe in that?
Now, when you die, I do believe that there's also going to be a realm that you're going to go to that can be hell. You see what I'm saying? Or a realm that you can go to and it'll be heaven. But essentially, with how we move within this avatar, we have a heaven and hell on earth as well. But it's all in your head.
Oh yeah, now that's correct. I see where you're going with that.
You see what I'm saying?
There's a
Now,
such
when
thing. Yeah, it's heaven and hell in your head.
mhm.
Correct.
And then when we actually die,
Yes, Jesse.
yes, yes, hell
Go ahead.
takes place in the mind, as does heaven.
Because that's what she said. She said so. Hell takes place in the mind. That is a
Mm-hmm.
fact.
Yep.
The mind is the condition you live in mentally. People enslaved and mentally send themselves to hell mentally every single day. It's just a fact.
Anytime you get that sense of fear, you just terrified and you don't know why, but you're scared. You want to get out of whatever position or situation that you're in. That's your hell for that moment. But then once you sit back and you get out of that and you get to a place to where you're calm, you're serene. Now you've ascended to heaven. Now, are you going to stay in that heavenly headspace? Well, that's completely up to you. That's
Right.
completely up to you.
Big Wig, is you back to play the video? Oh, she running.
I don't know. She might
Is
be running
one
back.
mind not a place though? What? What does she mean by that? He said, "Is one mind not a place though?" What? What does she mean by that?
I'm not sure. Are you saying is one's mind not a place? Like I'm trying to get
But the
a better
brain,
understanding.
yes, the brain or the mind is a place. If she's asking that, but you got to remember when you're dealing with the chakras of the body, right? The solar system is built inside of your body. You have a lot of um negative and positive energy that's floating throughout your body. So when you're dealing with those chakras, right? Every person don't unlock all of their chakras. Is the mind not a place? I would describe them. Wait, what? See, man, what is she talking about? She's speaking scribble scrabble to me.
Yes, the mind is a place.
Yeah, the mind is a place.
And so, and again, how would you describe the mind? It controls your reality. It what you think is what you live. So that's going to control your reality. So if I think that right now I'm in the best place in the world, okay, that's what's going to create my reality. But I'm living it in my mind. because I could be standing right next to Freddie B and I'm having the time of my motherfucking life. That's the place that my mind takes me. In my mind, that's where I am. I'm in a beautiful place. But Freddie B, on the other hand, in his mind, he's in the worst place ever. But it's strictly in his mind. That's the place that he's in his mind. So that's what dictates what the place is your mind.
Yep. And what
Your
type of place it is.
exactly. So at the end of the day, yes, the mind, it is most definitely a place. This is where they talk about.
But you can even say this, right? And what, if that's really what she's asking, how would you describe the mind? The mind is nothing. Think of the state of Texas and imagine Texas being a computer. That's your brain. That's how large your brain actually works, or how it works. It's like one big ass fucking hard drive the size of Texas. And you ain't unlocked none of it. That's why Lucy, if you ever seen the movie Lucy, right?
Oh, that's my movie.
What
That's
she
my
was
movie.
able to
Yeah.
start unlocking was it was these different other sides of her brain she was able to use that the normal human can't use or haven't even unlocked. So when he's talking about this heaven and hell or good place or bad place, right? Or realms, because it comes to a certain, like, even in the mind, that's why she started like teleporting. And she was able to move like in a way that it was like you didn't even know she was moving. That's how fast she was. That's the mind that if you unlock those parts, that's why they say, I think they say everybody use the right side of their brain. Imagine if you start using that left side or start unlocking your full right side, then you start unlocking the left. That's how huge the brain works. So when it's talking about that place, that's the reason why they implemented television and these news cycles and this bad information. And the mind actually is one big camera as well, or video. It's capturing everything you see, you hear, and it's digitally being recorded in your brain from the moment you was born to where you are right now. And your brain or mind is recording all of this. They teach this in Scientology if y'all don't know. That's where I learned this from. So them same images that's recorded in your head or your brain, if they're a negative place, you're going to have a negative life. If it's a positive place, you have a positive life. If you think in wealth, your brain will automatically, you produce wealth. So that's why he's describing, yes, your brain or your thoughts is actually, you can mentally take yourself or live mentally in heaven or hell. You ever met a friend and that you just like, this motherfucker is happy all the goddamn time. But they're in a worse condition.
Facts.
But to them, they're not. But this is one happy-go-lucky motherfucker. Why? Because mentally, they've decided, no, what do you mean? This is why I'm here. This is my purpose. And they enjoying their purpose on life.
Mm-hmm.
But did she come back yet? Because I'm trying to see if she going to play this Knights Templar. But go ahead, T-Man.
Nah,
Because that's the only way I describe it.
No, I mean, and that right there, I gotta agree with you 110%. Because then you got that person who got all the cars, who got all the money, but every day they wake up and they miserable. I mean, just to give an example, Scrooge, the man was rich. He had everything he wanted, but he was miserable. He was completely miserable because that's the state of mind that he chose to live in. Oh, this is bad. Oh, I can't stand this. Oh, so once you begin to think like that, that's what you're going to attract. Okay? Because of the simple fact we are energetic beings. So when you live in a negative energetic state, that's what you're going to attract to you naturally, whether you want it or not. But when you live in a state of mind to where it's positive and it's happy and it's joyful and it's blissful, that's what you attract. So at the end of the day, that's what our mind is. Yes, our mind is very much so a place. And it controls every perception that we have, every
Yep.
sense that we have, touch, smell, taste, hear, every emotion, it controls all of that. So this is why I like the example of Lucy, because when it starts out, she's using like a small percentage of her brain. But as the movie goes on, that percentage grows and it grows and it grows, and she's able to do certain things as her mind, as she begins to unlock different parts of her mind, until the point to where once she unlocks her mind to 100%, she's now living in the ether. She's not dead, but she's now living in the ether. She no longer needs the body to survive, because she is now has the ability, she's unlocked her entire brain, and she has a different understanding to where, wait a second, I don't need this flesh in order to live. I can live outside of this, outside of the body, outside of the mind. I live on the energy waves that resonate through this planet, or better yet, the entire universe. So that's the importance of the mind, because you have different brain waves that you can access. You got the alpha, you got the beta, you got the theta. These are different vibrations within your mind that you can access, and you access them when you're pretty much at rest. When you sleep, this is when you access those brain waves. So imagine if you had the access to these brain waves while you're awake, while you're moving. Then you really control the reality in which you step in and how you move. But hey,
Great point. So Trelly, you back yet? She probably still.
Yeah.
What you gonna
So
play the
why
damn
is it
video?
we can astral
Oh, go ahead.
sleep and
Go
get
ahead.
into those different dimensions when we're at peace and at sleep? And our bodies can
You said
definitely
what?
tap into different mental capabilities when we're sleeping.
but
You said
because
why can't we do it? Hold on, I'm trying to understand the question. You said
We can, some
astral,
people can do it when they're asleep,
right? Astral project.
going to different dimensions, astral projecting, visiting your ancestors. That shit is real.
Yeah. So
It's
I'm,
so
I'm trying to figure
real.
out the
Sometimes
question
you
you
can
asked
be
me.
in a, we can't do it like Lucy. She was wide awake and can do it, but some of us humans can do it when we're sleeping. We can get up out of here
Right.
and go where we want
But
to go and
but
visit who we want
but
to.
but you know that's a certain gift. Everybody doesn't have that gift. You do know that, right? The ones who can do that in their sleep,
Yep.
or go see them people and go to different realms while they sleep. That's a
I go
gift.
see my grandmother, but it's only certain times I can do it. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I can't do it all the time. I can go see who I want to see. Sometimes if I meditate on it, I do. I travel, and that is a fact. And it's also, I
Yeah,
feel
you
like I
always
have
come
been
to me.
in dreams with people, and we be in the same dream.
Look
Now
at you.
that did happen to my father before, and I remember my dad, and he stand on this. Him and his brother. They said they would sleep in the same room, but it was a nightmare for them. And they said something was chasing them in that same room around their bed. And it was him. It was like their real house. Everything was where they live. And they could
Right.
see each other. And when they woke up, they was in the same dream. Because somebody, and to this day, my dad is 70 years old. And him and his brother still alive. And you know what? They said that is a true story. We was in our mama house and we was sleep. So what y'all think that was? They wasn't sleep, or was they sleep? But they were.
She
she's
must
just
got a
gonna,
phone call.
yeah,
She must got a phone call. But what she's talking about, right? Which is, I'm trying to see if this girl gonna play this video or not. Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Go ahead. What you was gonna say? Because that thing, what she's talking about is, yeah, some people can do that. They can both go to sleep and be in the same dream together. That's a real thing.
And yeah, and what that is pretty much being able to access certain parts of the brain. That's all that comes down to. Because like you said, if our brains are the size of Texas, okay, and it's within this small body of ours, if you can access certain parts of your brain, then you'll be able to perform certain actions. Like yes, you'll be able to astral project. You got some people who can sit back here and call it a sixth sense. They have that intuition to where they can sit back and they can almost see the future. You know what I mean? They can say things, and all of a sudden those things happen. Um or different things like that. You know what I mean? Almost the superpowers. But it's just simply being able to access different parts of your brain. Someone who can access all of that, they'd be able to do all of those things. This is why you have a lot of people who use certain type of drugs. Like when you go to mushrooms, it allows you to access a certain part of your brain that you can't tap into on a regular basis. Some people smoke weed. It allows you to tap into a certain part of your brain that you can't access on a normal basis.
Right.
And that's pretty much that's how that moves. So and that's pretty much I don't know, they might be. But that's how that works. That's how, oh yeah, she can astral project because at certain point in time where her mind is calm. And like she said, she has to meditate on it, which means that's the focal point. That's the part of your mind that you're concentrating on, which allows you to then, as you sleep, be able to step out of your body and go to different places.
Right. Girl, is you back, girl? Because you might well go ahead and play it because you playing phone tag over there.
Yeah, because it's tripping. Hang
All
on,
right, go
here we
ahead.
go.
Just play it real quick.
The pearls and modern day warriors such as the Special Service, Navy SEALs, U.S. Marines, and U.S. Army Rangers and Special Forces. None of these elite groups became both politically and financially powerful, surpassing the warrior kingdoms, as well as had autonomy over their assets, except for one. Who were the Knights Templar?
Is it lagging for y'all?
No, it's not.
How and when were they created? What did they do to leave such a heavy footprint upon history? What happened to them? Hello, I'm Colin Eden, a veteran of the United States Army and Marine Corps, former history professor, book author, and welcome to this episode of Forgotten History. The poor fellow soldiers of Christ and the Temple of Jerusalem, or the Temple of Solomon, also known as Knights Templar or simply Templars, began their history as a protection force escorting European pilgrims to the Holy Land after the First Crusade, but their responsibilities and influence would grow. After the Christian forces were mobilized by Pope Urban II in 1095, they finally wrestled Jerusalem from Muslim control in 1099. As a result, groups of pilgrims from every country and province in Western Europe started visiting the Holy Land. Many of these people were attacked, robbed, and killed as they crossed through contested regions in both Christian and Muslim-controlled territories during their pilgrimage. They needed security. Finally, in 1118, a French knight named Hugh de Payne created a military order, along with 8 relatives and acquaintances, calling it the Poor Fellow Soldiers of Christ and the Temple of Solomon, and it was acknowledged the following year. De Payne then created a brotherhood of fighters, in actuality warrior monks, who took monastic vows, which included vows of chastity, devout study, poverty, and lived in a cloistered environment where they established a strict code of conduct. In 1120, King Baldwin of Jerusalem, or Baldwin II, handed over his palace to de Payne, which was the former Aqsa Mosque, Temple Mount of Jerusalem. The Templars established this headquarters, establishing their lineage, and it became a commanding presence in the region. The order received papal recognition and a charter in 1129 by Abbot Bernard of Clairvaux, who endorsed the Templars and wrote the treatise titled In Praise of the New Knighthood, text glorifying the establishment and mission of the Knights Templar, which also increased their popularity. As a result, they were officially recognized this order by Pope Honorius II at the Council of Troyes in January 1129, becoming the first military order to be created. The Templars were initially considered to be a branch of the Cistercians. The order would be led by an appointed Grand Master who resided in the headquarters at Jerusalem and then later at Acre from 1191 and then in Cyprus after 1291. Grand Masters were assisted by other high-ranking officials, such as the Grand Commander and Marshal, along with lesser officials in charge of specific branches of the orders, to include property management and finances. The Templar Order grew as men from many backgrounds, peasants and nobles alike, who were religiously devout, yet also with a sense of adventure, clamored to join. But the selection process was brutal, even by medieval standards. The rules for joining were straightforward. Recruits had to be free men of legitimate birth, and if they wished to become a knight, they had to be of knightly descent starting in the 13th century. Although it was very rare, a married man could join the order provided his spouse agreed and if he was acceptable background. The recruits were often expected to make a significant donation to the order, sort of an entrance fee, such as money or signing over titles of land.
This
One
one
thing remained a
boring.
constant: no man could join who owed debts. For Templars, worldly pleasures.
Y'all ain't like that one.
But I mean, it gives a basis on who they were.
Yeah.
So.
I'm gonna find y'all a different one, but go ahead while I find a new one. Hold on. I think that one's not working with me.
Little Freddie B said in the chat, it is.
It was not working.
Yeah. No, just the fact that it was boring. Like,
It was so boring. I couldn't do it no more.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so I did whatever that website is a GAIA. Their Knights of Templar is so good. But y'all know my thing is jailbroken, so I can't get it on my.
My Gaia.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, y'all.
Yeah. Definitely got to find a better one, but I mean, the Knights Templar. I mean, that's definitely. I mean, if you watch, what was it?
What is your life?
My life is Christ's, a vessel for his glory and a weapon.
Or the
Y'all just bear with me. Hold on.
Yeah.
If y'all see one, let me know.
I mean, this screen is small. I'm on my phone, so. But yeah, what was it? I think it was the Da Vinci Code.
It was good.
To where they were spoke on the Knights Templar and how essentially, well, pretty much based on the movie, they were in charge of protecting the bloodline of, I want to say, Jesus. Like, that's essentially why they were
Yes, that one. Can you hear me? Yeah, find that one. Find out. I was doing something. I couldn't talk.
Okay.
Yeah, that boy was back there packing the ass up real quick.
Real quick. But
find what now?
He said, well, who got something jailbroken? Them kids be all in the video dancing.
I'll be running from the kids, bro. I swear to God, they follow you like little roaches.
That's crazy. But actually, he's talking about finding one that is telling you how they was protecting Christianity, and it was protecting
I think
certain
I had
shit
a
for the.
short just now. Hold on.
Put it back down. You said a short? And look at Boatman. He just stays quiet.
Yeah, hold on.
Boatman stays quiet.
Stage Squad is crazy right now.
But he ain't liking reposted the space or nothing. Boy, you better like and repost, boy, if I boot you.
Mm-hmm.
You just up here. Trying to gain him some followers.
Look, that's crazy.
Y'all see any y'all interested in?
I forgot which one it is. I have to search for it, but see, and that's what I don't like. See, they hiding a lot of that stuff. I don't know.
Ooh, this one look crazy right here. What's this about? Hold on.
The Knights Templar and Baphomet. Now we're diving into
Baphomet, hold on.
history. The Templars
can
were
make it
accused of
full.
worshipping Baphomet during their trials in the early 1300s. But here's the thing. It wasn't just a random accusation. Baphomet, often depicted as this goat-headed figure, is a symbol packed with esoteric meaning, representing duality, balance, and hidden knowledge. The Templars...
What y'all laughing at?
I'm laughing at that video.
Not they
worshiping
the goat. Not they worshiping the goat.
Oh, it just can't get big for some
They
reason.
did.
I don't know.
I know, but look, I'm saying that for a reason.
There's a pervasive.
The Knights Templar and Baphomet. Now we're
Find
diving
the one,
into the real
Trelly, find the one. Hold on. Find the one. Just type in Knights of Templar and Christianity. It should come up under that. What you were saying? What, T-Banks? Hold on, because I'm trying to grab something.
No. What I was saying is, like, pretty much not they worshiping the goat. And you gotta understand, Baphomet, that's a satanic figure. You know what I mean? Half human, half goat type uh being that they worship. And the fact that
And of the temple of
now the fact that now everybody walk around talking about, oh, that's the goat, that's the goat, that's the goat. Like how they pretty much program that to be something that everybody speaks on, like it's cool, not even realizing they talking about Baphomet, the goat that they worship. Now they got everybody around here talking the goat,
Child.
the goat, the goat, the goat, the goat. What about the God?
No,
You seeing it? Look, so it got
nah.
kills for the Lord.
See, they got so much hogwash now on the
The
fucking internet.
conflict of the
It's
church
not
and the
hogwash.
knights.
Good gracious, yeah, you old as hell.
It's
That boy said hogwash. I ain't heard. Yeah, I ain't heard that since I spent time with my grandma.
But
That ain't
not the
nothing but a
Knights
bunch
of
of
Templar. I knew about
hogwash.
Atlantis. I didn't know that.
Hold on. He's good. What do he? Yeah, click on what's his name? That dude right there. He had a little fish with the fish. He's good.
With a fish, I don't see a fish. Oh,
Oh
right
my
there.
God, he right
Oh,
there.
the Wi-Fi's.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
The
night
Wi
yeah.
Fi's.
Hey,
and
yes,
the secret
that's the
quest for
one.
Atlantis.
Play him
I
right
didn't
quick.
know that.
Yes, play
Play him. Play him
that.
right quick.
Definitely play that.
He's good.
This episode of The
Yeah.
Why Files is brought to you by PDS Debt. The accepted narrative describes the Knights Templar as humble warrior monks protecting Christians on the road to Jerusalem. The Knights were later betrayed and ultimately destroyed. But there is another story within that story. It's a legend filled with murder, mystery, and buried treasure, and it involves a secret powerful enough to rewrite history and change the world. Yes, the Templars were in Jerusalem protecting Christians, but that was their cover story. The real reason they were there was they were looking for something, ancient technology. So as soon as the Knights Templar arrived in the Holy Land, they started digging. And then yeah, I know, Seymour, but it's only for a couple of days.
Human, I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I need some cash.
Well, hello to you too.
No time for chit-chat. Gertie wants to go to St. Bart's for Valentine's Day.
St. Bart's?
It's a Caribbean island.
I know what it is. Isn't it like $1,700 a night?
Whatever my baby wants, my baby gets. Anyway, the Beavers and I are starting a business, and I need a little money to get going. That's where you come in, human.
No way. How many times do I have to
Hear me out. I'm having a hard enough time making my monthly credit card payments as it is. Then there's gas, supplies, camel chow. You've seen how much Gertie eats. It's fine, baby. I don't mind a little junk in the hump. Anyway, I can't keep up. I just need a teeny tiny investment. Say, 40 G's.
40,000?
Okay, 45.
Absolutely not.
Oh, come on. You'll love this business. It's called Beaver Box. We ship wood products. For Valentine's Day, the Beaver and custom wood
Bruh, we don't get to the
you wear it
damn
for your
story.
significant other, family, friends, whoever. Right now, I got a hard-on for you.
Did you say you have a heart-on?
Yeah.
That fish do be funny though. That's his the commercial.
The Brothers of the East was a secret order formed in Greece that eventually set up their headquarters in Istanbul. They practiced alchemy. They studied sacred geometry. They performed rites and rituals incorporating astrology, astronomy, music, and mathematics. So when Hugh de Paynes, a French nobleman, met the Brothers of the East, he was excited. De Paynes was technically Catholic, as most of Europe was, but he had family members who were of the Sufi Islamic faith, which is the more mystical side of Islam. De Paynes had been told of this secret group that possessed and was protecting ancient knowledge. He wanted to meet this group and see for himself. At this time in history, Europe was in chaos. Various kingdoms were rising and falling and warring with each other. In the East, Muslims and Christians were clashing. The world was tearing itself apart, yet the Brothers of the East possessed a peaceful wisdom. They weren't concerned with modern politics. The brothers had a purpose
Pull
that
your mouth
was
up, son.
much more important. Once mutual trust was established, the brothers of the East told the European visitors their story. Well, not their story, the story.
Trella, you hear me? She got the little thing up.
It was the story of an ancient civilization that thrived thousands of years ago. The people were highly spiritual and highly advanced. It was a civilization that was free of poverty. Wealth was meaningless. They devised methods of crops so that every citizen was fed. They could control the weather. Droughts and famine were impossible. To Hugh Paynes, this civilization had abilities that sounded like miracles or like sorcery. They could communicate over long distances instantly somehow. They had a way of levitating objects, no matter how large or how heavy. They had medicine that could cure any illness, allowing people to live very long lives. War didn't exist. There was such an abundance of that anyone can have whatever they wanted. And what these people wanted most was to pursue their own spirituality. And then they were gone. How, DePaynes asked, could a civilization this powerful, who seemed to be able to control nature itself, suddenly out? The brothers of the East said in a single day the ground shook, and volcanoes emerged and erupted. Then a giant flood swept over the earth and destroyed everything.
I know where this is going.
It was then that Hugh Paynes and his 8 knights learned of Atlantis.
Yahtzee!
Hugh Paynes and his fellow knights were riveted by the story. Paynes was a nobleman, a count in fact. He was the Count of Champagne.
Le Mouet Champagne. Oh, pardon my French.
Paynes was an educated man. He knew about Plato and his stories of the island of Atlantis. He thought they were just stories. The brothers said Plato was mostly correct. But Atlantis wasn't just a city or even just an island. It was a civilization that spanned the globe. And each city was connected using transportation technology that, again, sounded like magic. The story became almost overwhelming. Almost. The brothers said that ancient relics of Atlantis still exist and possess their power. The power to travel great distances, the power of communication, the power to heal, perhaps even the secret of immortality. If ever discovered, these artifacts would be the most powerful and dangerous devices on Earth. Paynes said that any kingdom, any country, any religion would have access to this power. The brothers of the East agreed. The technology of Atlantis could not fall into the wrong hands. So Hugh Paynes was offered an assignment: find the ancient artifacts, bring them back to Europe for safekeeping. Hugh and the other 8 men agreed and formed a secret fellowship. But where do they start looking? The brothers said they'll find artifacts under the location of what used to be King Solomon's temple, the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. The knights would have...
It's lagging? Well, she got a phone call. Shit.
Yeah, it's one of the two.
Huh?
Well, nah, the video's on her laptop, so it might have it might have fell asleep. The laptop might have just fell asleep.
He breaking it down though.
Mm-hmm.
He telling the information. He sure the fuck is. But we ain't got to get into that. But I will say this, it's been fun. It's been a great conversation. Make sure you guys follow me here on Twitter at Freddie Roosevelt. Definitely follow me on YouTube, Mr. Freddie Roosevelt over there. Definitely on Twitch as well. Twitch.tv/Freddie Roosevelt. Shout out to Ladyberg, her whole Facebook crew. I think Trelly is it's probably her internet. All right, teammates, I'm gonna go backstage.
All right, that'll work.
It's been dope, you guys. Definitely love you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. That being said, this show is over, folks. Hello. We out of here.